I know I got to come up here and fight today. It's gonna be one of them episodes.
What you fighting for?
It's gonna be one of them episodes. We know how we get when the Lakers lose, man. I'm gonna have to roll my sleeves up. I'm gonna have to fight this episode. It's gonna be 3 hours of fight.
You fighting for the best flight?
Yeah, facts.
John D, you could always use my promo code. All right. You could always use my promo code. I can get you a first class flight. I can get you a nice suite. I can get you hey, it's all inclusive down here in Cancun. And you know what's funny? John Moran on the same floor as you. Tyler Hero on the same floor as you. Bam Adebayo, all of that. You good down here in Cancun. It's a good place.
Yeah, facts, man. I'm enjoying my little vacation, man. It's time. This is like they know me by first and last around this time of year as a Laker fan these past couple of years, but it's all good, man. It's all good. You know, doing a lot better than I was on Sunday. Doing a lot better.
John, so we could talk this out. You could cope with us. I don't know about when the other guys get here if they're gonna let you do this, but it's me, Morris.
Oh yeah. I'm waiting on them. I'm waiting on them.
You could talk to us, my man. Did you see you guys going out like this?
After the first couple of minutes of the game, I definitely did. I thought we were losing by 30. The way we came out, like the Lakers do a really good job of making sure they shit the bed on their home floor. Like they're like, you know what? We don't want to play today. So we're just going to roll over. And that's what it looked like in the first quarter. And then we had that really good third quarter or really good spurts in the game. And I'm like, you know what? The Lakers are going to win this game. Then we're going to win in 7 because you know me just being the Laker fan that I am. But nah, that's not the case. That's not the case. But it is what it is, man. I mean, coming into this season, I was like, you know what? We're probably going to be a first round exit. We got some agent superstars, this, that, and the third. Now we're going to spend our entire offseason building around a 26-year-old offensive phenom. Like, that's okay with me. Coming into the season, I'm like, you know what? We're going to lose in the first round. LeBron's going to do that thing where he's like, I may retire for the first 2 weeks of the offseason, and then he ends up not retiring. AD is going to be like, oh, how many more healthy seasons are we going to get out of AD? Then we get Luka Doncic, and now we're about to spend our offseason building around him. So if I just look at it on the positive side, that's the positive side. We're going to move. We're going to get better in the offseason, and who knows what happens next year.
When I saw Max Kleber in the lineup, I knew it was over. I didn't even know that Max Kleber was still on the crew. I did not know that Max Kleber was still on your crew. The fact that James, the lineup of Luka, Reeves, DFS, Rui, and James. I mean, you got no rim protection. You have no paint. You have no presence in the paint. You have no rebounding. And you have nobody to stay in front of Anthony Edwards. Not only do you have nobody to stay in front of Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle got downhill whenever he wanted. And when you get to the rim, there's really not much that's there to thwart these guys from doing anything. It's a recipe for disaster. And to see Rudy go off yesterday like he did, to see Rudy, yes, to see Rudy go off like he did. I mean, he went almost 30 and 20. He went almost 30 and 20 yesterday. And I mean, this is the same Rudy Gobert who I think before this game he's
average. Who you think should get plays drawn up for?
I didn't say he should get plays drawn up for him, Ron. What I said was 100% shit. I said he should get more touches around the rim when he's open. It's the same Rudy Gobert coming into this playoffs. The last 17 games of the season, he's averaging 15 and 12 coming into this season, coming into the playoffs. And he was shooting over 60% on 60% of those games that he played in. So I thought that he should get more touches around the rim. That's what I thought. And yesterday, I think was indicative to him being dominant was him being on the glass. That was the difference in the game. Holding the Lakers to one shot, getting the ball off the glass, on the offensive glass, and him finishing around the rim. It just showed a glaring hole for what the Lakers really need. And, I mean, they really are deficient in their front court. I thought that Julius Randle would be really – I thought that Julius Randle, the difference in this series would be him rebounding. I did not expect him to score the basketball and shoot the basketball the way that he did. And I think that was a huge difference. That was a huge difference with the Lakers. I don't think that they were very much prepared for that. And I didn't think that the Lakers' rotation would get as shortened as it did. And I thought that the Minnesota Timberwolves rotation clearly outplayed the Lakers. This was a series that, to be honest with you, I can honestly say I'm surprised y'all even won a game. I am. I'm surprised that they got a game. I am.
I'm gonna say this, Chill, and Mars, you can stop me if I'm wrong. Before we picked our series, I based it on whoever can exploit the opposing team's weaknesses the most is who's going to win every series, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And that were true about every single series I picked, or at least I stayed true to that every single series I picked, except this one. The Timberwolves probably could exploit the Lakers' weaknesses more than any other team could their opposing team in the entire playoffs, outside of all the non-competitive series like Heat, Cavs. But I completely ignored that. They had the size advantage, they had the depth, they had the lineup versatility, they had the shooting. Everything that I look at that I value for a team to move on to the next round or to make a deep playoff run, I completely ignored it when it came to this series. So
Mars, you know what that's called, Mars?
Me.
That's called a bias, Mars. Can you get on your man for that, Mars? Because he was basically on the Lakers because that's his crew. That's his crew. He ignored all the stuff.
80% of the world's population did the same thing John D did. So I mean,
he did that. So he did that solely because of his crew. He ignored all the reasons why. Because if that was anybody else, John D would be like, "They not winning because of these."
Yeah, no, chill.
If it was, and I understand that. I 100% get that. And the reason why I'm saying that, John D, the reason why I'm saying that was because I felt the same way about the Lakers. I said if this series is going 6, 7 series. If this is going 6 or 7 games, I'm not betting against James. Off the strength that it's James, no other reason. I ain't thinking about the Minnesota Timberwolves rotation. I'm not thinking about Rudy Gobert. I'm not thinking about Anthony Edwards. All I'm thinking about is if this thing goes 6 games, this thing goes 7 games, I'm not betting against James because they have James. I did the same thing. I did the exact same thing.
I do want to say, because I don't know how much we're going to talk about it, if this is the Anthony Edwards we're going to get moving forward, I don't even know where to rank him. I don't know where to rank him. He's been fantastic this series.
I know where to rank him, John. I know exactly where to rank him.
See, this is why I like giving it time after a playoff series.
He talked 20.
See, all right. And then we start trying to have serious conversations, and then Mars just rips the rug from under us, Chill.
Yeah.
So you don't think he's top 20?
No, he is, but he thinks he's higher than that. He thinks he's higher than top 20. He thinks he's top 15, maybe even top 10.
Top 15 is still top 20.
It is 100%, but it's close. But okay, Mars. Question. Okay, Mars. Is he closer to 10 or is he closer to 20 in your estimation?
I'd have him closer to 10 than 20.
Okay, so troll alert.
He's being right. He's top 20.
I know we was bringing him in today.
I'm wrong for being right.
So if you got him closer to 10 than you do 20, that makes him a top 15 player. Is that fair?
He could be top 15. Yeah.
Okay.
He's probably first team All NBA. Joe.
No, Donovan Mitchell's first team All NBA, but that's besides.
I mean, tomato.
The point you're making, Penn, is that he's still in that cap.
He's there. He's right there.
That's the point.
He's right there.
Yes, and I can definitely give it that. Yes, I definitely.
Where were we like 8 days ago? You know,
we still were saying the same thing. I think we still were.
I think the same thing.
I think some of us were on a very different side. I think some of us been speaking a very different truth for a little while now. I think I've been telling y'all that JJ Redick is a crap coach like all year. I swear to God, I had to dig up our coaching archive, best coaches ranking, and I damn near stopped the panel for 20 minutes because I couldn't believe JJ Redick didn't get ranked 30th because I just cannot stand this guy as a coach. I think he's massively overrated, and I hope this series exposed that. Because let me tell you something. When The Athletic did their anonymous poll with players, not one player in the whole damn poll picked JJ Redick as the worst coach in the NBA. 16 coaches were named. Chill. Ty Lue was named.
And nobody
Rick Carlisle was named.
Didn't the Raptors coach win that?
No, he did not. He finished 7th with like 5% of the vote, which was like 4 people. Come on, man.
Hey, that's a lot of people thinking your coach sucks.
He was close to the bottom 10.
But there's 0 people who think JJ Redick is a terrible coach. Come on, man.
They must know ball. Honestly.
I mean,
meanwhile, Penn, they had Jordy Fernandez at the bottom of the list.
And hey, I couldn't stand that. What did I tell you last one? What did I tell you last Wednesday? I don't think the Wolves. I don't think the Wolves are going to lose at home. I don't think the Lakers can beat them in Minnesota. Proved to be true. I told y'all that the Wolves role players play way better in Minnesota. They did.
Mm-hmm.
And I also told you, if I recall correctly, that Rudy Gobert is due for a 20-point game. And he gave you a 20-point game.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to be called Penstradamus from now on. That would be great. That would just be fantastic. John D. A little bit of pettiness and go along. I mean, honestly,
you're victory lapping JJ Redick. That video was in the offseason. Like
before he coached the game.
Right,
irrelevant. I have listened to this man talk about basketball for 2 years.
Yeah, before he ever coached the game, Penn was a visionary.
But right. Like I could understand like after he coached multiple games, but you did this in the offseason.
Yeah, that's
when
even,
you want a
that's
victory
even more
lap on that.
impressive.
You
That's even more impressive.
No, it's not.
Of course, it's more impressive.
Yeah.
That was pure hate.
When
that
the
was just pure
pushback he was
hating.
getting,
That wasn't even analysis. That was pure hating. Look,
none of us have seen
at the
any
end
of
of the
these
day,
new coaches
look,
coach, so it doesn't matter. But I mean,
look, I don't think
Ken, they don't want to give you your credit. I will, Penstradamus.
he can have his credit for the
Appreciate you.
Timberwolves winning the series. He's not getting
Yeah.
credit for the.
No, he's getting credit for both. Me and the chat gonna give Penn his flowers.
He's not getting credit for that.
Honestly, I don't know where you go from here. You could say all you want. You want to build around Luka. I'm gonna tell you this: you have a 1-year window, bro. You have a 1-year window to sell this guy.
I have a 1-year window with Luka Doncic. Oh my god!
No. I'm telling you, you have a 1-year window to sell him on a long-term future in LA. This, believe it or not, you know his pudgy appearance may give you the impression that he doesn't care about winning. He does care about winning. And at the end of the day, building around a star in the new CBA always comes down to who you got for me. Now, LA is the best place in the world to attract a second star. So when LeBron James vacates that large chunk of salary cap that he inevitably takes up, sure. But how many stars do you know? Be honest with yourself, because Kobe had a lot of trouble attracting a second star to play with him.
He wasn't able to do it.
He wasn't. There's certain people that people are like, damn, I really want to play with that guy. There's certain people who are like, I don't know if I want to play with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know for sure, but I would be curious to know how NBA players feel about playing with Luka Doncic, a guy who doesn't, according to a lot of people, doesn't take care of his body. I'm not even piling on Luka. Whatever, man. He had a tough year. Salute to him. He tried his best. You know, he wasn't his best in this series, but you know, I think he did okay.
He continues to pile on Luka.
What?
As he continues to pile on
Luka. As you continue to pile on Luka, but keep going.
I'm possibly one of the biggest Luka fans up here. I'm not gonna. I didn't become a fan of Luka because he put on the purple and gold. You know,
this is what I don't want to do. This is what I don't want to do. I don't want to make this more about the Lakers than it should be about Minnesota and how they kicked the Lakers' ass. This isn't the Lakers just
they
weren't.
did chill. This is what it's going to be yesterday. They did.
And it shouldn't be. It should be more about how good Minnesota is. And how good Anthony Edwards is. It should be more about that.
Did Minnesota win that game yesterday, Chill, or did the Lakers lose that game? I'm gonna ask you the same question that Russell Westbrook lost his mind over a few years ago. Because I'm gonna tell you this: I watched that game. Before that game, I thought Minnesota was going to win that game. Midway through the game, seeing how the refs were reffing it, I'm going to be honest, the reffing was terrible. And how Minnesota just refused to take that final punch. They came out in the third quarter a little bit lackadaisical. Yep. They're kind of like, just they don't look like they know that what's on the line here. Like you don't want to be going into game 6. You want to close this out. You have a chance. The Lakers are not playing well. JJ Redick does not have a center on the court. Your center is beasting. You get in the best game of Rudy Gobert's life, and you're not punching. Anthony Edwards settling for threes, missing everything.
But here's the difference, though, Penn. He was doing that all playoffs, and the fact that he was missing yesterday does not mean that he wasn't punching
because he's still threes.
No.
Settling,
and he wasn't settling last night neither. Last night, the same shot.
So?
No, I
don't. He had a hobbled Luka on him. He couldn't blow past hobbled Luka.
He did blow past hobbled Luka, Penn. He blew past him more than once, more than twice. He did get to the rim.
Open layups.
Right. He was, but here's the difference, though, Penn. He was being aggressive. He had one of those nights, but he did do other. He did do other stuff. And don't get me wrong. We've seen him do this before. Don't forget last year against Denver in Game 7 He was like, what, 6 for 27, something like that, 6 for 24 in that game. We've seen him do this before. This isn't out of the ordinary with Anthony Edwards to have a bad shooting night in an elimination game. That doesn't negate the sense of urgency that he has, however, because he was being aggressive. It wasn't like he was just standing on the wing with the ball over his head, just looking to get it to somebody. No, he was getting downhill. He was clacking the long ball. Man, he took 11 threes last night. He didn't take one. He didn't take two. He didn't take four. He took 11 of them.
If I told you Anthony Edwards, twitchy Anthony Edwards, shifty Anthony Edwards, control on his body, floater over anybody, Anthony Edwards can get to the rim against anybody, Anthony Edwards, who's been getting to the rim against bigs, good defensive teams. The Lakers are not a good defensive team. With LeBron playing the way he did yesterday, they're really not a good defensive team. They couldn't get an offensive rebound to save. They couldn't get a defensive rebound to save their life. They didn't have a center on the court. They got primary matchup on him sometimes, Luka Doncic. When it's not Luka, it's Rui. If it's not Rui, it's who? AR. Nobody should be able to stop Anthony Edwards from dunking the ball every single time. The fact that you took 11 threes is criminal. It's insane.
But here's the difference, though, Penn. The difference is that he's been doing that the entire series. In fact, he's been doing that the entire year. This whole season, I think Anthony Edwards averages 12 threes a game on the season. So I'm not going to take away from now the fact that he went 0 for 11 from the long ball line, which when you're shooting that far away from the basket, you're going to have that kind of variance. Whereas there's going to be a night when you go 8 for 12, but then there's also going to be a night where you go 1 for 11. It just so happened that this night he went 0 for 11. That doesn't negate how aggressive he was. That doesn't negate him getting to the rim. And on top of that, I know that they didn't have rim protection, but they did have guys at the rim. They did, and he just wasn't making shots. I'm sorry, John, if I interrupted you.
No, it's all good. I just wanted to point some things out. Going into the offseason, there are a bunch of needs the Lakers have. That's obviously some athleticism on the perimeter and somebody who can somewhat protect the rim. I'm not asking for Evan Mobley, but I'm asking for somebody that's competent at the position. Because what the Timberwolves did constantly was attack AR, whether it was Julius Randle attacking AR. Anthony Edwards was constantly attacking Luka. We couldn't have anyone stop the ball. That's why we constantly had to send 2 to the ball. It doesn't matter how much Anthony Edwards was penetrating. If you put 2, 3, 4 on the ball, he was getting to the rim and he was getting the Lakers in rotation every single time. And these guys were getting wide open threes every single time. And that just really shows how stuck the Lakers were into one scheme. They did not have the roster to adjust their defensive scheme to anything else. It's like, we can't switch. We can't not send 2 to Anthony Edwards because he's going to get to the rim every single time with our lack of rim protection and our lack of point of attack defense. So it's like, some people can get away with having bad point of attack defense if they have a good rim protector. Some people can get away with having bad rim protection if they have good point of attack defense. But the Lakers had neither one. So it's like, it wasn't gonna, it didn't look good the entire series. So that's definitely something we have to go into the offseason hoping, and it makes it a lot better that this is a really deep draft class and we have no pick. So at least in the first round. So that hurts as well. But we do have a lot of things we need to move forward with this offseason and really figure out. But I trust that we will be able to make some adjustments and have some guys on our perimeter or down low to really improve.
Mars, how encouraged are you by Julius Randle's play in this playoff series moving forward? Because I really like what I saw in his aggressiveness. I really like what I saw in his confidence and his shot in particular. I think the rebounding was really good, but you in particular, because you've been really critical of of Julius Randle, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, you have been. But how impressed are you with Julius Randle in this last playoff series and moving forward?
Speaking to the mic, Mars.
Extremely impressed by what Julius Randle did in this series. I said before the series that in theory this could be a really good Julius Randle series. The theory came true, so that was great. Watching him attack mismatches. Ever since he came back from injury, I can't remember like the exact date he came back, but he's looked a lot more comfortable within Minnesota's offense, and he's not stopping the ball. We're not getting possessions where Julius Randle's getting the ball with 18 on the clock and then dribbling all the way down to 5 on the clock. We're not seeing those possessions happen with commonality, which I think is great. His physicality and his bully ball style was amazing in this series where Austin Reeves can't handle him. Gabe Vincent. None of them can really handle him. He's getting to the rim whenever he wants. Knocking down the threes are a bonus with Julius Randle. I'm not expecting him to shoot 45, 46%, whatever he shot in this series consistently. If he does that, then that's even better. But I don't expect that. Really likes his defensive engagement, especially on the ball. Now going forwards, I don't know, because assuming they play the Warriors, which is the reasonable assumption.
Sure.
The Warriors offense is very different to the Lakers offense. Does that offense play into Julius Randle's defensive strengths and weaknesses as well as the Lakers does? No. So he might look a little bit different in that series, just because he's going to have a lot more off-ball responsibilities defensively, and that's concerning. And the Warriors are like a million times better at playing small than the Lakers are. So you have that disadvantage. But he also has some of the same advantages in terms of mismatches to attack, whether that be Steph Curry, Moses Moody, Gary Payton, guys who are just too small to guard him. So offensively, I think he can keep up this same level of success or something similar to it. But defensively, I am a bit more concerned as you go through the rounds, especially if they play the Warriors and then the Thunder in the next round. But Julius Randle's been amazing in this series.
What if they play the Rockets?
Every single game, he was extremely consistent just in what he was giving the Wolves. So I gave him flowers on Twitter, but I'm going to give him flowers live as well, because that's what he deserves. He deserves his flowers. This is the vision of Julius Randle. Like, the people who believed in Julius Randle, the ones who were like, oh, he's a top 25 player. Bro.
Such as myself.
This was the vision. This is what Julius Randle was
Yes,
in theory. It's nice to see it actualized and actually be what he's capable of being consistent.
To be honest with you, Mars, it was a breath of fresh air because he doesn't look, more than anything, he doesn't look incompetent. Not just on defense, but period. Like, he doesn't look like a guy who we can't have him on the floor. There are stretches when Julius Randle has played in the playoffs where we got to get him out of the game because he's not helping us at all. And that's not what I saw at all from him in this series. He looked completely engaged. He looked like he knew where the switches were coming from. He knew where the double team was coming from. He looked like the game looked slower to him, which I thought was great because he looked like he was processing a lot better. He was more engaged on offense. I love the fact that he was on the glass, and I love the fact that he was doing what he could to hold the Lakers to one shot. And I think the most important thing with Julius Randle throughout the course of this series was he played under control. I didn't see him pouting. I didn't see him disengaged with his teammates. I saw him in control, and I saw him engaged within the game. I thought that was great from him. I think I can get that moving forward. The question is when it gets rough, and whether it's Oklahoma City, whether it's Houston or Golden State, they have guys who are going to make it rough. They have guys who are going to junk the game up. And will that take him out of his game? Will that speed him up and make him do other things? Because I feel like the way he's playing now, if he could continue to play like this, they're going to be a hard ass out. They're going to be
he's not going up against a coach who's a toddler in the next round. He's going to go up against Steve Kerr, who's a 4-time NBA champion, and easily able to exploit his considerable deficiencies on the defensive end. Or he's going to go up against Ime. And, I think
you talking about Ant?
No, I'm talking about Julius Randle.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
We're all talking about Julius Randle. Ron, where are you at?
I'm in Cancun.
He's in Cancun.
You see where I'm at?
Yeah.
Hey, it's beautiful out here. Hey, life on this beach is amazing. And I'm saying, Penn, by the way, I seen Scotty Barnes earlier too. But by the way, I'm just saying.
He's hooping.
He's relaxing and doing some other things. But shout out Scotty Barnes. But Penn, proceed. I don't want to derail the conversation.
As you just did.
I don't want to derail it anymore. What were you saying? All I asked is a simple question. Are we talking about Ant? Who's going to get exploited by these coaches? You were saying Julius Randle.
No, I think, look, historically, Julius Randle is a major playoff dropper. Right? We can agree with that. Like, historically, he has not been great in the playoffs. He's been borderline unplayable in the playoffs. I do think a series like this kind of fell right into his hands. You have a team that plays very ISO-heavy basketball. It's not the most complicated offense, I feel, right? And I think that allows a guy like Julius, especially with a co-anchor, co-big like Rudy Gobert, to just sort of, coast defensively. With the Warriors, I feel like Julius is going to have to work a lot harder. The Rockets series might be a little bit easier for him, to be honest. I don't know. But I wouldn't victory lap just yet, Joe.
I'm not victory lapping. Whoa. Hang on. Just because you paid rent
on
this
the
month,
Julius front.
I'm not. Yeah. First and foremost, how many eviction notices have we gotten? We've gotten plenty Okay, you just extended the eviction. Okay, we paid the rent this month. Let's chill out. I'm not doing that. No, I'm not. Your
credit is still in like decline.
100%. 100. That's why the interest rate is as high as it is with Julius Randle. So I'm just enjoying what I'm seeing from him right now, and I'm hoping that this can continue.
It's great. I mean, he's such a talented player. Like that's the craziest thing about Julius is like you look at him on a good game and you're like, damn, what can't he do on the basketball court? He do everything on the basketball court, especially when that jump shot's going. He could do everything. Good passer. He's a decent ball handler.
Yep.
Decent decision maker. He's got that midi post game. He's got a very I think he's got a game that if you grew up in 90s basketball, you really love Julius Randle's game. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that,
absolutely.
That just complete basketball. He's not an analytics guy. You know, he does the whole thing. He plays a city game. But yeah, like I think if the Timberwolves are going to advance past this round, regardless of who they play, I'll give Houston some credit too. I think Amen been hooping like hardcore. Like there have been quarters and quarters and quarters where I have literally thought Amen Thompson might be the best player on the court, and that's with Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler on the court. Regardless of who you go up against next round, you gotta
do something with this fucking guy. God damn, get your ass out of here, my man. You suck. You suck. Boo. Get out of here. Beat it. Get your ass out of here. You suck. All you are, you know what you are? You're a big giant pus sore on the arm. That's what you are. That's what you are. And every time I pour alcohol on it and clean it out, you just keep coming back. You just keep coming back. Get out of here. Leave. And don't come back. Damn.
Ron,
as you were saying, I'm sorry.
One buddy
out of here, man.
One buddy coming to Cancun with you.
He's there out of here, man. Stop giving this dude. No. Don't say his name, Ron. Stop giving this dude attention. We got a show to do. Stop giving this dude attention. Stop.
Bum.
That's it. As you were saying, Penn. I'm sorry.
No worries. Yeah. So I just think in the next round, if they are going to go past this round, because right now, like you down to the final 8.
Yep.
It's eight teams. That's it. We started at. What we start out with the play-in 8 team. 10 are gone. 10 are in Cancun. 10 are with Ron. So you just got 8. And I want to say like 2 or 3 of them are easily fraudulent. You're not fraudulent. The Wolves have a chance, like a legit chance. Anthony Edwards got to be a lot better, though. He got to be a lot better.
Is it just that one game, Penn, or is it just that one game, or is it just throughout the course of the series? Because he was damn good in this series. I think that one game 5 yesterday, in terms of him shooting, I don't think he shot the ball particularly well. But throughout the course of the series, he's been really good. He's been really good. He's been really aggressive.
It's like
what exactly is it?
He was the best player in the series.
I got you.
That's what I'm saying, because I'm trying to figure out what it is that you're looking for. Are we looking for the next step from Anthony Edwards? Are we looking for Anthony Edwards to take the next step to be an elite player? Because I already think he's an elite player anyway.
So good, man.
What are we looking for?
So good.
Yeah.
And I think he left shit on the table in this series. Like I felt like there were quarters where he could have done so much more than he did as a playmaker. The way the Lakers covered him yesterday, I felt like he could have done more. It's not just about yesterday; it's the entire series. Look, you always come down hardest on your favorite players. Anthony Edwards is one of my favorite players in the league. So I'll say this: he has another step to take as a decision maker, as an athlete. As a closer, I think he could take more of a step. I'm perfectly fine. I actually commend yesterday that his shot wasn't going. He deferred to Julius a lot. You know what I mean? I love that he's a good teammate, but there's going to be series, especially if they end up against the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. You probably going to have to put up like 40 a game.
Yikes!
Get ready.
Yikes!
Pin, I'm not.
Holy shit!
You talk like this is 2K. Like
for real, that's what it sounds like.
I get what you're saying, Pin.
Damn!
They just beat the Lakers in 5 games. Anthony Edwards had his belt out all series.
Okay.
Including last night. Now, to Chill's point, the shots just didn't fall. And you remember, I was the one talking about Jokic, you got to do more. All the stars leave it on the line and this, that, and the third. And the chat kind of corrected me. They said a lot of these guys don't do that. Anthony Edwards tried to do that last night. His shot wasn't falling. But you know what he did do? He had 3 steals. He had 11 rebounds. He had 8 assists. And you know what? They closed the game out. They won. And it also, do you know what? He made it a conscious effort to sit back and let Julius Randle cook. He got Rudy Gobert off.
Pause.
I think with everything that you would have wanted from Ant coming into the series as a playmaker, you kind of got like he was making
everything you wanted, John.
So it's like everything I came into, like I based my series off of how good will Ant be as a playmaker, and he was really good. And it's like, unless you would want him to have like a better in-between game within the next coming rounds, I think he's been really good this entire series to the point where it's like, if we get this and then like I understand like maybe if the shot isn't falling, you would want to go to the rim a lot more. But this is a guy that's shooting 40% from 3 on 10 attempts. Like the shots are going to go up.
What would you grade his performance? What would you grade his performance?
An A-.
Last night?
Okay, perfect.
No.
He's going to need to be an A++. Was
against
better teams? Against better teams.
I would say he was an A for the series. For the series,
yeah.
He was an A solid A.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't give him a B. Like I would give him an A for the series.
No one's given Anthony Edwards B's, but I'm just saying like he's gonna have to play a little bit over his head. And look, there have been players in league history who've played a little bit over their head. There's a player who's averaged 32 that you didn't think was capable of averaging 25. I'm just saying he's gonna have to play a little bit over his head.
Well, that's
maybe 40 is a stretch. Maybe 35. You got to average 35.
But isn't that what all great players play over their heads at some point?
Well, he is the ultimate playoff riser, though, Joe.
Yes, I'm not gonna argue that.
Now, here's something funny.
Yes, he does.
We were talking about Anthony Edwards. Y'all were talking about Anthony Edwards and KG 2 days ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know he's won as many series as a Minnesota Timberwolf right now as Kevin Garnett.
Yes, I did know that. Mm-hmm.
Broke 23. 23.
I did know that. Mm-hmm. Now, I'd like to think that throughout the course of KG's career, I mean, I think that this team that Anthony Edwards is on, I'm trying to remember a team that KG was on that was as good as this team.
He was never on a team this good.
Just this team in particular, and Anthony Edwards over the last 2 years have had really good teams. I can't say that about KG. I can't remember when KG consecutively had really good teams. I can't remember that.
What was his best team?
In 2004. Yes, and Sam Cassell. That was and Wally Zerbiak as a rotation guy. I think that was his best. I think that was the best team that he was on. Like people talk about Marbury. I mean, Marbury was a kid, right? Marbury was a kid when he got him, and he only had him for 3 seasons, 96, 97, 97, 90, and then that lockout shortened season. He only had him for 3 seasons. So then he's relegated to guys like Terrell Brandon, and then he only had Chauncey Billups for that 1 season. And
he wasn't the great version.
He wasn't Chauncey Billups yet. No, he wasn't Chauncey. He wasn't Chauncey Billups yet. So with that being said, I think that Minnesota is doing a much better job building this unit around Anthony Edwards than they were with Kevin Garnett. Now, some people will say, Kevin Garnett took all the money in 1999 when he signed that extension, but I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily the case, considering there are teams that, I mean, you can't win in this league if you're not paying. And we all know that.
Joe Smith scandal screwed them over, I think.
It did,
a lot.
Losing their first round picks. 100% it did.
How many did they lose? 3? I think it was 3 first round picks. Might be 4.
That's what I thought it was 4.
It was bad.
Yes. So I have a first round pick for 4 years. And as an expansion
and then the
team,
player that you screwed all that up for didn't turn out to be all that.
Right.
Damn it, Joe Smith.
He did.
Shout out to Rashan Nesterovic, man.
I love what I'm seeing
I
love what I'm seeing from Anthony Edwards, though. So to pin to your point, I mean, I know he's going to have to play over his head, but that's what happens when you get to the playoffs. This is where the legend. I feel like this is where the legend is elevated, because when you get to the playoffs, when you move on, like you just mentioned, when we get to the Warriors or we get to the Rockets, we're going to see a better team. If we get past them, when we get to the Nuggets or we get to the Clippers and we get to Oklahoma City, we're going to see a better team, which means we're going to have to raise our level of play. Me in particular, what I was doing in round 1, I can't do that in round 2. What I was doing in round 2, I can't do that in the Western Conference Championship. And that's where I feel like that's where the legend. Right, I feel like that's where the legend gets amplified. And a guy like Anthony Edwards, who we've seen throughout the course of the playoffs, throughout the course of his playoff life, we've seen him elevate his game. So he's the last guy that I'm worried about raising his game. I think he's living for stuff like this.
Fellas, I'm gonna step in right quick because Mars and Chill have some things that they want to let you guys know. You see these two brothers right here? Chill has a look of not necessarily concern, but he's trying to figure out which playoff series he wants to go to next.
Yeah.
Now, we know that the Thunder have advanced. We know that the Wolves have advanced. We know the Celtics have advanced, and we know that we're going to see the Cavs and the Pacers. But which series do we want to go to? There's only one correct answer. And that's all of them, baby. And the way that you can do that is on the GameTime app. But first, you got to download it. Then you got to create an account, obviously. And then you use code CLNS. See, the thing about it is, when the Wolves spank the Warriors next round, you're gonna want to be there to see it. When Nikola Jokic comes through and beats the Oklahoma City Thunder, you're gonna want to be there. When Halliburton puts on a Magic Johnson performance against the Cavs, you're gonna want to be there, Penn. And when the Celtics lose to Cade Cunningham, you're gonna want to be there. And so with that being said, y'all, you need to download the GameTime app because they make getting tickets faster and easier than ever before, including those hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the GameTime app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. But don't wait till tip-off. Download the app now and make it happen right now. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with the GameTime app. Download the app, create an account, use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but again, in the words of my great friend Ox, who gives a damn about terms? Get the $20 off. Download the GameTime app today. Get last-minute tickets. Lowest prices guaranteed, and just get in the game. We'll see you guys in OKC.
Let's do it.
Fellas, I want to do something that I typically don't really do. Because, John, I know this is a tough morning for you. Hey, I know you got a double shot of coffee this morning or a double shot of something else. But
should have saw me on Sunday. Should have saw me on Sunday.
I know it's a lot of people in the chat that's just coping right now and going through it, chill. So I want to be there for you guys. Here, let me switch up my appearance. I know Cancun might not be the best thing for you. So Dr. Ron is in the building, y'all. Dr. Ron is here for me.
Right.
And I want to read you guys in super chats and let you guys get what you need to get off of your chest.
Bro, you need to put a funeral home background. That's what you need to do.
I'll get there. I'll get there, Penn. But let me go ahead and read some of these super chats. My man DSG Piccolo, we know he's not a Laker fan, but he has something that he wants to get off his chest. He's coping as well. He said, I was told he was the best third option in the league. Better than Denny. Man, fuck out of here. Reeves was getting clamped by a geriatric Mike Conley?
Just means old.
Is that the Rudy you wanted, Chill? Big 2020 game. Was told JJ was the top 5 coach. Where?
That's not the Rudy
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. That's not the Rudy that I expected. I didn't expect 2020. I mean, if you're getting that kind of Rudy, Minnesota's going to win the NBA championship. I'm putting it out there. That's happening. Minnesota is winning the NBA championship if you're going to get that kind of Rudy. That's not the Rudy that I expected, but I did expect more than 5 points or 6 points. I did expect more than that. I expected more than 6 or 7 rebounds. I didn't expect 24 rebounds, but I definitely expected more than that, no doubt.
You know what's crazy? I had posted a video talking about how Rudy Gobert is underrated. Didn't want him to show how underrated he was, or I didn't want him to have a really good game against my Lakers. So that's always great. Anyway, but I have said that JJ Redick was a lot better than I've been giving him credit for as a coach. Going back and looking at it now, once again, evaluating your favorite team can be tough, can be a little exhilarating when you're giving them a lot of credit that sometimes may not be deserved. But yeah, that's something I definitely overstated was how good JJ Redick was as a coach. A lot of the schemes he threw at some of these better teams in the NBA and how well prepared the Lakers looked in the regular season definitely swayed me defensively, and it clouded my judgment a little bit.
If there's a 100% pie, how much of it is on JJ? How much of it is on JJ?
You right now.
That's fine.
We let them cope today.
Dizzle, come on, dog.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. This is what happened.
Have a heart.
It's such a personnel issue, though. I'm just saying, like, to act like JJ just isn't coaching.
I agree. It is a personnel situation, but it damn sure ain't a personnel situation.
No, John, we're not doing that because it wasn't a personnel situation when y'all ran off 8 straight. It wasn't a personnel situation when y'all climbed back to the top 3 in the Western Conference. No, I'm not trying to hear that.
But this is the thing, though. This is like
the personnel was always flawed defensively.
Yeah,
we know. Definitely defensively, Morris. On top of that, it's like he couldn't play Jackson Hayes. Like he has a clear personnel issue. And first of all, I hate to throw the Lakers any bill. Trust me. The fact that the Lakers woke up this morning at the Fiesta Condesta in Cancun, that's beautiful to me. Like, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that they're down there at the Fiesta Condesta. Like, I love that. But I just don't want to act like JJ Redick did a terrible job. I think obviously you can find downside to any coach, especially the losing coach. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can do that. It's easy in basketball to do that. But at the same time, John, you do realize that y'all had Mark on the way and he had to go back and all of that. I just think y'all
would have loved
Mark. I think y'all overachieved.
He doesn't change this series.
I was about to ask that. Does he change this series, Mark Williams?
Hell no. I don't know who y'all think Mark Williams is. He's not that good.
He's better than
definitely.
He's better than Jackson Hayes.
He's definitely better.
Congratulations.
But it's like
better than Jackson Hayes.
When you do that, when you do stuff like that, when you talk about it and then just say, "Well, he's just not that good," it sounds crazy because he is good. You know what I'm saying? So it's
What's
just like.
Very athletic.
Like
Williams, 100%.
I could be wrong. I think he's a pretty good rim protector. I think he's a pretty good rebounder. He's better. Mark, it's a lot better than what they got.
I agree. It's an upgrade. Now, good rim protector. Upgrade for what Jackson Hayes was and that Smooth was provided. Probably.
It's such an upgrade.
Walker Kessler going.
I don't think Rudy Gobert has
better rim protectors on their team, and they didn't play them.
But it's not just about rim protection.
3 better rim protectors.
Hell no, man. We ain't doing that.
Who's the 2?
Hell no.
Christian Coloco is a much better rim protector than Mark.
Coloco's still there?
Yes.
Morris, Penn has been trying to push this Christian Coloco shit all season.
He's a great protector. What the hell do you want from me?
I just want you to know.
He's still there.
We don't care.
If you're talking about Mark Williams' defense, then I don't want to hear it because they got better defenders than him on the team.
Okay, but I'm just pointing out little things. I just think Mark Williams is such an upgrade for everybody that got including Coloco, including Hayes.
He's better. But he's not better defensively.
He's better offensively.
He's better offensively, yes.
I didn't know Coloco was on the roster.
He could have definitely helped out our rebounding. He definitely could have helped out our rebounding. Mark Williams.
He could have helped out with the offensive rebounding. I think the defensive rebounding is a little bit questionable. I think he got better defensive rebounders than him too.
That's right there, though, Penn. You got to, and I say this all the time about Rudy Gobert. When you got a player, and he hasn't done it every game this series. Obviously, last night was a much better game than he's had all season. Mm-hmm. But when you have a guy like Rudy Gobert, who's a great defender, a great defender, no question about that. Great on defense, elite on defense, and he can get off. He can convert on offensive rebounds, can score the basketball without having any plays ran for him. I don't expect almost 30 from Rudy, but I like Rudy to come with anywhere from 12 to 15. You know what I'm saying? If he does these type of things without having any offense ran for him, I think Rudy Gobert is a hell of a player. I think when you have that out there and you have nobody, like you're not even playing Jackson Hayes because he's so bad, You know how much better that team would be if you had Mark Andrews on there. That's all I'm saying.
Mark
Williams.
He talking about Mark Williams. We
I
know
think
he's talking
Mark
about.
Andrews to get some rebounds.
We
Maybe
know
one or two.
Mark
And
Andrews-
the way Mark
Oh, my
Andrews
bad.
gets the
You
damn
were talking
ball.
about Mark
We know you're talking about.
Is that the one who
We
stole Lamar
know we
Jackson?
get it.
Is
We
that
know
the
what you're
one
talking
who
about.
stole
I
Yes,
get
that's
it.
the one.
Andrews is a hell of a dirty work
My
guy,
bad.
boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
hell
hey, no, but
I didn't know you were
bad.
talking about Mark
We don't get on
Andrews
him.
from
I
Guatemala.
feel no,
That
I
dude's
feel
great.
You know the
I feel
Steelers
you.
fan in me will
I feel you.
tear down Marcus
And
Williams.
to your point, Ox, just so we clear, and I said this before you showed up, since Rudy came back from injury, March 9th is when he came back from injury. For the rest of the regular season, he was averaging 15 and 12, right? So when you get, and he averages 15 a game for his career in the playoffs, right? And when you get a guy who can supplement some of that, but I don't think that was the problem. Buckets around the rim wasn't the problem for the Lakers because, I mean, Luka was getting to the rim. James was getting to the rim. They could score, and don't get me wrong. You can use some extra. You could use some extra buckets from a big. The problem was their rim protection and their rebounding. They couldn't stop Minnesota. That was the biggest problem.
Chill, but Luka needs that. Luka needs a lob threat.
Oh, I'm not going to argue that. And the $100 million man who we thought it was Jackson Hayes. The way he was. I'm not going to say we. Let me rephrase that, Mars. I apologize, Mars. The $100 million man who I saw. I was like, yo, he looked like he gonna turn Jackson Hayes into a $100 million man. So
and him
the
and Jackson
thing
Hayes
is,
was getting busy in the regular season.
But now he doesn't play, so he's garbage.
Luka needs a big man. When
He was never good. He just looked a lot better than he was for a stretch.
When Luka gets in the paint, he needs a big man. He could throw it
Mark
upstairs.
Williams. That's what I'm saying.
He's still better than Jackson.
Mark Williams is
bro.
still
I'll take
okay.
I'll take
Do y'all remember what people said about Nick Richards when he got to Phoenix?
Oh,
he was the solution.
I said he said.
I agreed with you.
Mars, you did say he was.
He's better than Jackson Hayes. That's
what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter.
And they're better than no big at all.
Exactly.
Mark Williams is better than having to run Rui at the 5.
Like, and the best part about the thing that I look at as like a positive, we can look at a blueprint around what the best team to build around Luka is, because Dallas came into the season with possibly the best team they could build around Luka. 2 starting level big men, athletic wings, floor spacing, point of attack defense. We can look at the early 24-25 Mavs and be like, this is the team we should base our team around Luka for. You have 2 starting level bigs that can be lob threats and rim protectors. You have athletic wings, wings with size, wingspan, and strength that you could put around Luka. You have the speed on the perimeter that can make rotations, can guard at the point of attack, and that can rebound. This is the level of team that you would want to build around Luka Doncic, and we've seen it happen. I think the Dallas Mavericks had the best team that they have had around Luka throughout his entire tenure coming into the season. So if I'm the Lakers, I'm like, okay, let's go get a starting level big, and let's go get a really competent backup big so there can always be a lob threat, rebounder, and rim protector on the floor. Let's go get some athletic guards, which I don't think there's a lot of guards on athletic guards that can be used at the point of attack that are going to be way too expensive to trade for or to grab in free agency. There's going to be teams that are going to be selling a lot of these guys that they have on their roster, like Portland. You can go call up some guys on Portland. You can call up some guys in Brooklyn. You can call up some guys in New Orleans, see how they feel about a few guys. It's just we seeing what a really good team built around Luka looks like. So maybe we can go into the offseason and try and replicate that.
Which is fair. Now you definitely need some luck on your side. So they got lucky with Daniel Gafford, right? Not only did they get lucky with Daniel Gafford. I'm in the minority. I think the Lakers 5-man is in the draft. That's where I think he is. I don't know who it is, but
they got a draft pick,
right? And that's the worst. That's the worst part of it. They don't have a draft pick. That's the worst part about it. I think that their 5-man is in the draft, but they can't draft them because they don't have any first-round draft picks. Because we talk about big men like Ron. We're talking about big men like they just grow on trees, and you can just snatch one of them. Like the Lakers are just going to go pick up a big man to just supplement what they didn't have this season next year, and it's just going to be all good. Well, okay, I can promise you Brooklyn is not handing over Nick Claxton. No, he's not. I can promise you Walker Kessler is not just coming to Los Angeles. Danny Ainge is going to want a haul for him.
You can get Robert Williams.
Well, you could have gotten Robert Williams.
You can go into the season with a rotation of Rob Will and like not Jackson Hayes, I'm tripping. Nicholas Claxton, and that'd be like your 2 starting level bigs that can.
I think you're getting Claxton, but you need
try Mitchell
Rob Williams and someone
Rob
No.
Williams,
And then you get to the
Capella,
playoffs
Rob
next year,
Williams, and
and
Walker Kessler. We can get multiple. It's better than what we came into this rest of the season with Luka Doncic.
John D, you know who you can have, John D? You know who you can have? Y'all would have won with Anthony Davis.
This is the thing because
I'm just saying, if y'all have Anthony Davis,
LeBron for
y'all
Anthony
win this
Davis.
series.
Who says no? LeBron for Anthony Davis. You should have Luka and AD together. Bron and Kyrie reunited with Klay Thompson. What's the deal?
Man, if y'all had Anthony Davis, y'all win. Y'all win this series.
What I'm doing is I'm signing my extension, and my extension has a no trade clause in it. I am not going to Dallas. How about that? Put that in your
You
pipe.
just ruining the hopes of
That's
the
right.
Lakers.
Absolutely.
Oh, LeBron.
I'm not going to Dallas.
with the Lakers' second round pick, they will be taking Ryan Kalkbrenner out of Creighton. 7'1", can rim protect.
He
Can
the one who had
rebound.
like 47 or whatever, and like 18 or 20 shooting.
I tell you what,
No clue.
John D, you're the draft guy. John D, how did you feel about Post coming out of Boston College?
You never know, man. I mean, like you never know with these bigs, man.
Chill.
Somebody that can shoot, but let's see. He does show his age at times, but if he can rebound and he can shoot threes and he
He's
can do a
kid,
job,
no doubt.
we can
He's
go
a-
get.
Chill. I saw the internet's
for the first 2 years of his career.
Chill. I saw the internet's most popular draft coverage guy, and I saw his ranking last year. Quentin Post was 60.
So he was barely getting drafted.
Yeah,
Barely.
he made it.
He was barely getting. Here we
Yeah, you got to factor in Quentin Post is
So-
like 24, so it's like age was definitely a factor. Like
It
he's
wasn't
an
because of his
old
game.
rookie.
It wasn't because of his
He's an
game.
old rookie, like really old.
Yeah,
Which is
Kalkbrenner played 5 years, so he gonna
Oh,
come.
Quentin Post is 25 now. Like he a rookie, he's 25 already. Like
No,
that definitely
Kalkbrenner's
played a
not
part.
25.
Let's look at some Roko Zakarski minutes.
Huh?
Let's look at
Look,
Roko Zakarski.
I got
Fellas,
Sir.
I'm still in the doctor's office because I'm here for all the Lakers fans to cope in the chat. So I'm gonna move on to the next super chat from Hunter. Hunter said maybe if JJ put as much effort into his schemes during the playoffs as he did for a meaningless game in February, they could have won more than one game.
The thing is, I just don't think we
Yeah.
had much of a other defense that we could have ran. Like we didn't have the versatility in our roster to run another scheme. Like what we were gonna trust Austin Reeves to stay in front of Ant for 48 minutes. Like I just
No, you're not doing that. That's
I'm
not
never
the game.
going to criticize a coach for game planning for regular season games.
You know who would be a good center?
So if JJ Redick does that, he gets credit. You don't diminish that.
Those are the games that are the difference between you having to get on a plane.
The reason they won in the play-in is because of some of those game plans. So no, I'm not about to diminish that. Now, do I think he could have been better in the postseason? Sure. Defensively, I don't really have an issue. Offensively is where my issues with JJ Redick and his coaching staff lie. Defensively, I'm with Ox. Their personnel sucks. I don't know what you really expect when their roster is this flawed defensively. It's why they were grossly overachieving when they were like number 1 in defense since January or number top 10 for the rest of the season, whatever they were, when you had to keep listening to people tell you that their defense ain't that bad. They're top 10. Like, you could see this defense wasn't going to be sustainable. Like you could see this defense was not going to be viable in the postseason. I don't really blame him for that. He did what he could with what he had at his disposal. Offensively, however, I don't think he did what he could with what he had at his disposal. But that's where I have the issue.
And I'm gonna ride with JJ because I do think he can get better. The part that upsets me is when he goes to the press conferences and he acts like there's nothing he could have did. Like, oh, they're not really doing anything. Our guys just have to go out and execute. Like offensively, there's no way we should look that bad. There's no way. But who am I?
Yeah. Who are you, John?
You're a person with a
Come on.
podcast mic and probably could have done a better job.
That's what JJ Redick was.
Facts.
Facts. Chill. Have you ever gotten like a really good price on a particular thing and you were feeling yourself a little bit? Like, let's say like you got something for like way less than you ever thought possible. You know what the worst purchase is going to be? The next purchase you make after that purchase.
Because I think I'm going to get the same deal.
Maybe that, or maybe you feel like you got found money. You know, it's like you got that Cadillac for like $8,000 and you're like, maybe I could spend a little bit more on that, you know, the second thing. So I feel like the biggest thing that I would say, I was thinking about this morning. I was like, shit, you know, like there's going to be a lot of Laker fans who are going to wake up very disappointed thinking, you know, they got sold Lakers in 5, and then they lost in 5. It's kind of poetic justice for everybody else, but it sucks for Lakers fans. So I was thinking to myself, what is the great silver lining for Lakers fans this morning that you did not trade for Mark Williams. That is the silver lining. Let me put that out there. This offseason, there are going to be a lot of teams. I promise you, there are a lot of teams this offseason that are going to be looking to move off a salary attached to much better players than Mark Williams. And what you have as a Los Angeles Lakers now is a still hypothetically decent shooter in Dalton Connect, who is back on your team because of that trade falling through. You have your first round picks that you would have traded in that trade now that are back. And the best part about this is I now feel really bearish about your future, at least more bearish about your future than if you had succeeded in the playoffs, which means your future picks actually are worth more.
But
right?
you know what, Penn? I can, because I'm not gonna lie. I took game 4 really hard. After that, I'm like, you know what, man? We do have a really young star in Luka Doncic we can build around. We have a lot of pieces that we can move.
Is he going the right way, John D? Is he
I think this was a bad year. I think this was a bad year.
But you overall think the best is yet to come?
For Luka,
you have to think that. You have to think that. You have.
Why do you have to think that?
The reason why you have to think that is because
y'all expect Luka to get better than what he was the past 3 years. Not including this year.
No, we traded Luka so we can get better. We already know who he is.
But I just
want to be clear every year after age 23, right?
I just want to be clear on what Penn is asking.
Some players regress, some players
are you asking whether or not there's the best is yet to come for Luka, or the best is yet to come for this basketball team?
I think the best is yet to come for Luka as a Laker. I definitely think Luka's going to be better next year than he was
as a Laker.
this
I'm
year.
saying, where's he going as a player right now? Like, you expect next year he comes into at any point over the next 3 years, you think you're about to see something from Luka you've never seen before? You're like, Luka comes into camp, he's chiseled, he's in shape, and suddenly he's guarding people, and he's more efficient from three.
We aren't expecting him to turn into
the Twilight Zone.
You might be.
Well, I don't think anyone's expecting Luka to turn into a lockdown defender. I think.
Well, I don't say lockdown. I just mean like competent.
I think even that's probably reaching. Most people who are optimistic about Luka probably expect him to get back to the level he was at in 23 and 24. Most people who are pessimistic are probably using this season as a sign of overall regression, and that Luka's probably declining already.
So where are you at?
He was beat up the majority of the season. Keep going.
I genuinely don't know where I stand. This season was definitely bad. This season was worse than last season, obviously. I think every time I said that, I was received with pushback as to why it was worse than last year, when that wasn't relevant to me saying it was worse. You can give me all the reasons you want. Fact of the matter is, he was worse this year. That's all I have said.
100%.
Does that mean I think he's regressing? Yep. Not necessarily. I think there are some circumstances that definitely impacted his play, but I also think there are some concerning signs, like the fact that he's been getting to the rim less and less each year for like the last 4 years. This isn't just a one season thing. He's been getting downhill less as each year goes on, and he seems to be getting heavier. And I'm not saying putting on weight is always bad, because you can see he got stronger. He was able to post up better. There were benefits to that, but he has clearly gotten heavier each year of his career. You go back and watch 2021 Luka, and then you watch 2025 Luka, he's clearly heavier. And his defense is worse than it was a couple years ago as well. So there are very obvious signs that it's like, okay, this is concerning. But he also shoots the three better than he has in previous years. So there has obviously been development. So I don't know where I stand on what Luka's going to look like next year. I think the reality is, if this is the Luka that we just seen, if this Luka is who he's just going to be for the foreseeable future, Nico Harrison's still wrong. But he looks a lot better than he did at the moment of the trade. And I'm also a lot lower on the Lakers' future, because the Luka I'm seeing right now, I don't think is a top 5 player in the NBA. That's my hot take. The Luka I'm watching today, this isn't one of the 5 best players on the planet. The Luka he's capable of being, or has shown he is, that's a top 5
he worse than Tatum?
Yes, the Luka I'm watching right now is worse than Tatum.
That's what I was about to say, Mars.
Hold on, right quick, chill. You know what we are optimistic about? Sitting courtside in the finals, courtesy of PrizePicks. When you download PrizePicks and you use promo code PANEL, first off, you will get $50 back instantly when you play just $5. But speaking of that $5 lineup, you know why that's so important and so pivotal? Because every time in the playoffs, you make a $5 3-pick flex NBA lineup, you enter a sweepstakes to sit courtside during the NBA finals. So it's like a 2-for-1. You know, Penn, so maybe your next purchase won't be your worst purchase. You got cooked again, Penn. So when you play $5, not only will you get 50 back instantly, but you will enter a sweepstakes to sit courtside when we get a chance to watch Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers play against Jalen Green and the Rockets. That's good hoops right there. But, however, use promo code PANEL and mimic Ox's picks that are right here on the screen. We got, you could tell them better than I could tell them, Ox. What you got?
Okay. I really enjoyed these first 5-minute PRAs, so I went with 2 of those again today. James Harden, I expect him to have more than 4.5 PRA in the first 5 minutes. And I expect Jamal Murray to have less than 3.5 PRA in the first 5 minutes. In the New York Knicks game, I expect OG Anunoby to have more than 7.5 points and assists, and I also expect Karl Anthony Towns to have more than 17.5 rebounds and assists. Those are my picks today.
There you
$10 $10 to get you 245.
Let's make it happen.
I love that. Mm-hmm.
It's good money right there, y'all. That's good money.
I get 2 veggie burgers, Ron. Not 1. I could get 2 of them. Sir, feeling that.
All right, y'all. We still have coping Laker fans in the building tonight. So I want to make sure that everybody gets home safe because I know, it's a lot of people that are day drinking today. Pip named Slickback said the Lakers have little cap space, 1 first and 1 swap. If I'm Luka Doncic, there isn't a path to building a title team with the Lakers. Houston, San Antonio, so many other options. I'm leaving next summer.
So we have to consider that like this isn't just a foregone conclusion that Luka's going to be back here. He is going to peek his head, into other rooms and see what's going on in there. Just because they traded for him, that doesn't necessarily mean, and because it's the Lakers, that he's just going to stay there. Now, because of the Lakers' history, they've shown that they will build a championship unit around their star player. They've shown that, no doubt. They have shown that. Now, the question is Luka comfortable enough to say, all right, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to let them build a championship unit around me, or do I already want to go somewhere where it's ready made? Do I want to stick around here? And because it's going to take, I feel like it's going to be, in terms of a championship unit. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a minute. I mean, I thought it was a 36-month plan with James. Now I think next year if he comes back, I think next year is the last year. When it comes to James in particular, I think next year is the last year. Do I want to go back in this with James? Or do I want to go back in this with James and see what else they're doing? Or do I want to go to an already ready-made? Because if I'm not mistaken, straighten me out, guys. I think he's a free agent at the end of the season. Like he can opt out of the last year of his deal.
Who?
Luka.
I think that's next season.
So he does have 1 more year left on his deal.
I think so.
Okay, so if he has 1 more year left on his deal, then him staying with the Lakers as of right now. I'm 26 years old. I don't think he's wasting anything, but after next year, I don't think the Lakers let him walk out the front door.
I don't think so. I know I said a minute ago that they have personnel issues, which I still agree with, but I don't think they're as far away as we're making it seem right now. Like I think a couple tweaks to the roster and they're competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're competitive now.
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think this is a blow up the roster.
Some tradable salaries, which is good. And Dalton, I highly doubt is on the Lakers next year. Highly doubt.
Yeah, I'd be willing to put money on that.
Why?
He's out.
Yeah, I think Dalton.
You
I
think
think
Dalton is
Dalton is
out
probably
next
there.
season, Mark?
I think Dalton is probably like the key trade or one of their key trade pieces. I think if this seems like we want Dalton and we'll give you our athletic wing that can play defense, take Dalton.
I can see that.
Yeah, sure.
They almost got mad about getting rid of Dalton earlier. They almost made the right move.
Like, Dalton's a good shoot. Dalton's a really good shooter. Don't get me wrong, but it's like if we have glaring issues and they want Dalton Connect, take Dalton Connect. Like we have so much issues on our roster that's worth more than keeping Dalton Connect, in my opinion.
Tend to overvalue players that we watch a lot and undervalue players we don't watch a lot. So it kind of makes sense that you would think like some team is just out there willing to give you a 3-and-D wing for Dalton Connect. Who
It's
is
not
that
going to
team?
be straight up. It's not going to be straight up. We're going to have to attach a pick to it like we did earlier this year. It just got rescinded.
I just
Like,
think you have
I'm
too
not
many
saying
holes
Dalton
on this
Connect.
roster to fill with Dalton Connect and picks. Like you need
That's not
need
the only
time.
thing.
You know what you need? You need time. You need like a full 18 months of hitting ace. Because at some point, LeBron's gone.
Well,
Right.
then you don't have 18 months.
I think after next year, to be honest with you, Penn, I think after next year, that's it.
Like,
I'd
you
be
got to
I wouldn't be
accelerate the
surprised
timeline
if he
you're
quit
trying
at
to
the end
do
of
it
this
with
year.
LeBron.
We've been saying that
Right,
for
we got to
5
speed
years.
this process up.
Yeah,
The problem is you do have young
No, I
players,
wasn't.
but I don't
no,
know
I
if
wasn't
your
saying
young
this
players
5
got
years
better.
ago.
I don't know
I
if your young
didn't say
players got
you in
better though.
particular. I'm just saying that's been said for the past 5 years. Like, oh, Bron's
That's
done.
been the consensus.
Bron's done.
Sure, I can get with that.
Well, I mean,
My
at
bad.
one point,
I'm
at
sorry,
some point,
Penn.
it'll
That's
be
what you were
true.
saying, Penn?
At some point, it'll be true.
I
Keep
think
saying
they're
that enough.
like at some
Yeah,
point,
right.
you know, like there's some teams out there that are actually making their young players better, like Memphis, OKC, etc. Like where there's a lot of infrastructural emphasis on development. So you might look at Jackson Hayes and be like, oh, he's a bum. You might look at Dalton Connect, oh, he's a bum. You look at Rui and be like, oh, he can't do this and he can't do that. Well,
Rui's
the point
pretty
is,
good.
these are all young players. Some of them were lottery picks. Some of them were very highly regarded at some point. They all have holes and gaps. And, I think with playing time and development, you can actually develop these players. They're not terrible. They're obviously in the NBA for a reason. They're getting rotation minutes on a team that just went to the playoffs and was picked to win in 5 for a reason. Now that they lost in 5, now everybody wants to reverse engineer everyone as
Who
crap.
picked them to win in 5?
This is something
A lot of people.
but this is
including
something
this
that was
dude right here.
Man, that was just bullshitting, man. Come on.
Nah,
But
I was fully
5?
convinced of my Lakers in 5, man. I was fully convinced.
This was something like we were like talking about trading Dalton Connect this offseason before the Lakers even got into the playoffs, is because the deficiencies on the perimeter for our defense was just bad, and we thought Dalton Connect could be somebody that we could move off of to go get in somebody that could play defense at a high level for us, whether we attach a pick to it, whether we attach another salary to it, whatever. Dalton Connect is going to be a part of the deal. So it's like I don't necessarily, because I was on the trade Dalton Connect thing before the playoffs even started, because I think there's some value to him for a team that could want to develop him. Like, I know he could be developed, and I know he could turn into a player that could be worth value in this league. It's just I don't necessarily know if it's on the Lakers.
Question, John, are you kicking the tires would you call up Indiana? How you feel about Obi Toppin in Los Angeles?
Oh yeah, that's
I
what
think
they need. Worst defense.
Yeah, I think he helps our
No.
transition offense. I think he's a good shooter, but we need defense. That's the thing. I'm like, I don't necessarily want more offensive players. I want some defense.
You need to
I
find
mean,
players from
Would
teams.
you be interested in, and this is me spitballing, I don't know the money, in Austin Reeves and Dalton Connect for some assortment of Jonathan Isaac and something else from Orlando?
This is
Austin
the thing.
Reeves
Yes, Austin Reeves.
for Jonathan Isaac?
And some other assortment of things from Orlando. Like I said, I'm just spitballing. I don't have the trade in front of me. I'm
Austin
spitballing.
Reeves.
If I'm letting go of,
I would assume a
exponentially
big
more
would have to be in
Jonathan
there.
Isaac.
So
Yeah, I'm just saying,
say
like,
right
if
now,
I love Jonathan Isaac.
if I'm
Would have to
letting
be
go
on
of
the
Austin Reeves, we need a starting level big. That's what I'm looking at. Like,
Okay.
I think the wings are probably gonna have to be like guys that we can get in free agency. If
What about Rui instead of Austin Reeves then? So Rui and Dalton for like a Jonathan Isaac and something else from
The
Orlando.
Magic can't do it. So this is
Jonathan
the Magic.
Isaac
The
doesn't
Magic.
play
The
enough,
Magic are
bro.
capped out. The
Mm-mm.
Magic
How much
are
does Jonathan
facing.
Isaac make? He makes a lot,
I
right?
think he makes like 18 million.
Rui
a
makes
year.
like 18.
So
Yeah, it's right.
the Magic have major second apron implications coming up down the line, especially when that Paolo contract kicks in. They're not going to take long-term salary. They actually have to kick some salary off.
Damn.
Here's the thing.
Jonathan
Next-
Isaac's
next-
the long-term salary on the team.
John D, do the Lakers have their 2026 draft pick?
I think we have it. I don't think we can trade it. We have it. We can't trade it.
I'm not asking you to trade it. So
Yeah.
here's what I would do. I would sell Luka on a 1-year tank. I just would.
Hell no.
Would you
man.
sell Bron for 1 year?
No way. Hell
Dude,
no.
I would
Are you
literally.
trading
I
My
would literally.
Jonathan Isaac idea is
I
insane.
would
but we
punt the
tanked him
shit
with
out of
Luka and
next
LeBron.
season. I would punt the shit out of next season, and I would just tank for the bottom. Dude, you don't know.
You
like,
got LeBron and Luka in your tanking pin? What's
No,
going
I'm
on?
not
here?
doing that.
I would assume in this situation, LeBron ain't coming back.
What for this next season?
Yeah.
We've already debunked that. He has to have a fair wear tour. There's too much money on the
100%.
line to not have a
Yeah,
fair wear.
come on.
Way too much money on the line to
have a
not
farewell.
farewell, Brown. Like, come on, bro.
Well, you can keep kicking the tire at a first round exit. The West is not getting worse with
It was
Wemby
just
back
in the
next
Western
year.
Conference
It's actually getting
Championship
better.
2 years ago. Just
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
2
Anthony
years ago.
Davis back then. Yeah,
Right. And
I got a
and
bad
that's-
coach. I got a bad coach.
100%.
I mean,
so
can we just look at the Western Conference here
That's
for a
not
second? You got the Dallas Mavericks. If Kyrie is back next year,
got a better player in Luka.
Won't be till January at the earliest.
Well,
okay,
plan is-
cool.
when your
The
plan is
playoffs don't start till
contingent on
April.
LeBron retiring, it's
Ox,
kinda like,
they're gonna kick the Lakers' ass. The Dallas Mavericks, like a fully okay. I'm assuming that they'll.
Yes, that's because Dallas won the trade, Pin. We've all already established.
They definitely you the only one. You by yourself. You
Oh,
by
I
yourself.
live in
on
a
that
world-
one.
I live in a world with me and myself. So when I say everyone, I'm just talking about me.
I got you.
I'm so self-centered.
I love the self-awareness, Ox. I love it, brother.
I'm saying there's like
Love it.
there's like 8 teams. If the Lakers don't get considerably better, and the problem here is it's like you're in a hole where okay, you want to appease this. Okay, we got Luka. He's a top 5 player in our minds. We got LeBron. For 1 more year, or 1.5 more years, or whatever we have. We gotta take whatever little assets we do have, and we gotta flip it into win now pieces.
Yeah.
Right. But then the minute LeBron's gone, now you're stuck with Luka and nothing. Because you haven't really filled those, because you've traded all those young assets to get win now assets. Young players don't help you win.
Right.
Luka's 25, 26, right?
26, yes.
Like you gotta, if you want to sell him on a long-term vision, I gotta have you take that 1 year that Kobe, 1-2 years that Kobe took between those championships, where it was like, okay, like we are gonna have to go into asset development and asset accumulation mode for a couple years. There's no quick fix. There's no Giannis walking in through the door. Nobody. The other flip side of this is a lot of teams will have the same idea. 2026 draft is loaded. There's possibly 3 players at the top of this draft that could be like number 1 picks in most drafts. So a lot of teams are going to look to sell players that are win now players. Think PJ Washington, guys like that. They might be available for very cheap. The Lakers just have to have expiring contracts.
I actually what you're saying right now, I mean, I don't hate it. From the Kobe, like in 2005, like the 2004-2005 season when they lose Shaq and when they basically starting over, I can get what your logic.
It's the Luka show. Go out and score 30 points a game.
100%. I can definitely get with that. Here's the problem, though. The problem is number one, we got to get this right. Like this isn't something that we can tinker. We don't have time to tinker with this, because don't forget, Bryant acts out 2 years later because it was wrong. They were getting this thing wrong. And Bryant demanded out. So I don't want to be in that space with Luka where and again, we live in a way different time than we did 2005, 20 years later, where these guys are a lot less patient today than they were 20 years ago. So to ask Luka to be a part of a 1 year tank, because again, you're assuming that James isn't going to be there. Sure, I can get with that. So to ask Luka to be a part of a 1 year tank where we're gonna build this thing around you, Penn, by year 2, we gotta look like we are serious. We have to, because if we don't,
you can't tank in the year. You can't tank in the year you don't have a draft pick. So you can't tank in 2027. So if LeBron decides to, hang it up after next year, now you're going into a year where you could be really bad and you don't have your pick. Now, welcome to Brooklyn Nets hell.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
You could just compete. You got a decent roster. You could just tinker it this year. You could get a better big. You can get some wing defense. There's no need to go that far. There's no need to be thinking, well, it's not so desperate that we're trying to talk about LeBron retiring after he's potentially first team All NBA. There's no reason to have that type of conversation, y'all. This team is not that bad. There's no reason for us to be talking about nuclear bombs and things like that. Let's just regroup. You know what I'm saying? Let's just take advantage of the offseason. Let's get better. Let's get in shape. You know what I'm saying? Let's go find another big that starts so Jackson Hayes can be a backup center like he's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Let's or throw shit, whatever suits y'all. You know what I'm saying? This y'all squad. I'm definitely, but we clear. Do something like that. Let's find somebody to come replace Max Christie so we can get some more wing defense. Let's find a way to give Vanderbilt some more minutes. You know what I mean? Let's be competitive. You know what I'm saying? Let's not always lose let's not lose in the playoffs and be like, you know what, fuck it. Let's tank.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? Let's waste a Luka Doncic year when he's 26. You know what I'm saying? Let's hope that Braun retires.
Yeah,
so
let's get him in shape for a year, Ox. Let's
Oh
get him
my
in
God, we're
condition.
not gonna get him in shape by tanking. Ben, we're not tanking with Luka Doncic. Like this is crazy.
And by the way, Ox, and I'm sure that you noticed there's a certain guy up in Sacramento that's having problems with his lady. So maybe we might be able to. We might
relax,
be able to.
relax.
He ain't exactly.
having problems with your lady?
He ain't exactly.
Never.
I ain't saying that he want
Never
to break up.
Problems with my ladies.
I
Never.
ain't saying he want to break up, Ron, but I'm saying he ain't exactly happy with what's going on. He needs some
Dude,
clarity.
that was funny. That was funny. That was funny
Demontis
last month.
and Luka?
That's not funny no more.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, Ox. I apologize, but my man needs some clarity on what we're doing moving forward. So, I got this shiny new house over here.
Since we're taking it there, there's a
I'm
guy
saying.
in Milwaukee. There's a guy in Milwaukee having problems with his lady.
All
Call
right,
him. Get him on the phone.
I can't handle that, Junkie. I can't handle that.
That dude in Milwaukee, to be honest with you, that dude in Milwaukee, I think it's a lot. It's going to be more difficult to pry him away than the dude up in Sacramento. I think so.
Yo, Ox. But to your point,
Mhm.
when speaking of Giannis, when we were talking about the Bucks, I completely disagree. I think the Bucks need to blow that house up and build a new one. But when we're talking about the Lakers, I think this is a huge overreaction. I really do. You're running it back with two guys who are first team All NBA caliber guys. Now, one of them obviously is going to be 41.
Neither one of them are top 5 players.
Who established that? On whose list?
Mars
On
Mars
Mars'
top
list.
sports.
No.
Mars list ain't Mars.
LeBron, yeah, he's not. What I said was the Luka that we saw this season wasn't top 5.
Hey,
Yes, and I agree with you.
okay, and the Luka,
all I'm saying.
and I'm willing to bet that the Luka Doncic we see next year is top 5. And I'm willing to bet.
Even
and I'm
so,
willing
I'm willing to bet you're wrong.
Bron's going to be
Just like
knocking
you've
on
been
the
wrong.
Luka's not going to be top 5.
I'm willing to bet
that doesn't matter. Ron, you don't have to.
I don't typically say this on the panel. Shut up. Shut up. Luka's not going to be top 5
the more you
next year.
cap, the more you
Yes, he will.
You don't have to be top 5.
Shut up.
You don't have to be top 5. How many, regardless if you're top 5 or not, that's just the number that we're choosing. That means nothing. Top 5 isn't a big deal. There's 30 teams in NBA. I want to know, of those 30 teams, how many of them guarantee have 2 top 12 players in the league?
That's not how
top 12
guaranteed.
Forget about the players. Talk about the team.
I'm just saying. You just said that. You just said the top. You just said the top 5. So I'm gonna keep with that. You just said y'all were talking about top 5 players. You just said that they don't have one top 5 player. Who cares, right? That's not important. How many teams in the NBA have 2 top 12 players regardless?
Well, think about the top 12 players in the game.
Just them.
Yeah,
just the Lakers, right? Just like so, I think when you have that, you have a core to build around. Obviously, that's not enough. I understand how basketball works, and I know that you can't just have 2 top 15, 2 top 10 players, and then be like, "Oh, we're gonna win it all." You have to build around that. What I'm saying is, when we can't talk about this team like they have no hope for next season like this. And you know what I'm saying? I think it's ridiculous that on the day that the Lakers get sent to Cancun, I have to be up here defending them. Like, I think we can just keep it real so that I can hate on the Lakers. If y'all five can just keep it real about the Lakers, I can hate on them. You know what I'm saying? But since y'all are up here saying nonsense, I got to defend the Lakers on this day, and it really hurts my heart.
None of us said other than Penn for them to go tank.
Well, I hear that. I just associate that with
group
everybody.
us all into that. None of us said tank.
Yeah.
I'm just associating that with everybody. This is crazy to me that this is a conversation we're having.
Look, the reality is there's 8 teams that make the playoffs every year. Now you can go sell yourself on the same hookah or drugs that Matt Ishbia is smoking, where it's like, okay, well, we're a great roster. We have these great 2 players. Congratulations, you not in the playoffs, and you have you want to be the Phoenix Suns. Go right ahead. Follow what Ox is saying. But the reality of the situation is there are teams that are younger, better, and deeper that have more assets And they are going to be in prime positions to pick up reinforcements this offseason when those terrible ass teams start selling to tank in 2026. The Lakers have to pick a side at this point. You want to compete? Cool. Show me you can build a roster around Luka and LeBron without completely gutting your future assets.
The thing is, when we got Luka, it was a week before the trade deadline. Like, now we have an entire offseason to build around the two. Like,
and an
now we
entire
have
season for them to.
But
build
your
up some
roster
chemistry.
doesn't make sense. Your roster doesn't make
But that
sense for
doesn't mean
anybody.
go for the
You have
number one
3 different
pick.
rosters, John D. You have a roster that's built for LeBron. You have a roster that's made for Luka, and you have a roster that can be coached by JJ Redick.
Okay,
I
so
don't think this doesn't make sense. You got to pick a
can we
side
agree
here.
that we got Luka a week before the trade deadline, and Luka at the time,
You were gifted.
whether you
Luka.
think gifted, traded, snatched him up, kidnapped him, whatever, he's a Laker. He's a Laker now.
Mhm.
We had a week before the trade deadline, and then it's not like we were preparing to get Luka Doncic. You know, we get the call and it's like, this is an offer we can't pass up on. We'll worry about everything later. This is the later. This is the offseason where it's like, now we have a chance to really build around Luka Doncic. I believe let's get an offseason, maybe 2, where we can try and build a championship team around Luka. I just don't think tanking with somebody who's supposed to be a top 5, whether you think he's a top 5 player in the NBA, whether you think he can get back to that level, even then, I think it's worth building a proper team around him, because we can all agree coming into the playoffs, this was not the best situation for Luka Doncic. So let's take this offseason. Let's try and build around him the best we can. Let's see what happens next year, and we continue to build off what we have.
All right, fellas. Well, Laker fans, we will be back for you guys to cope some more in a little bit when we read super chats. But funny thing is, the Wolves did advance last night, right?
They did 100%. They moving on. Yep. Not only did they win, Ron. Just so you know, Houston put a belt to the Warriors' ass last night. I just want to put that out there too. They put a belt to their ass.
I'm glad you brought that up, Chill,
Yes,
because
they put
Houston
a belt to their ass
has
last night.
or the Wolves have to play one of the 2 teams, the Warriors or the Rockets. And well, the Warriors and the Rockets, they had a game last night, but it really wasn't a game, right, Morris?
Well, the way Pat Spencer and them was hooping, damn near made it one. Goddamn.
Well,
I like what Steve Kerr did, to be honest with you. Sticking with them boys. I do. I like that.
Well, he gave up on the game.
He threw the game in the first
he
half.
gave up. It wasn't. Oh, he stuck with the guys who got them back. No, he gave up on the game and wasn't about to ungive up.
I swear to God, they didn't come into Houston to win the game.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean,
there was talk
I'm not
before
surprised.
the game of like, oh, if we go down by this much, then we have to think about the next game. Blah 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 blah. Like loser mentality. I think this is like I really believe in Greg Popovich's approach to appropriate fear. You got to have an appropriate amount of fear for your opponent. If this Golden State team, who are up 3-1, believe that we can just turn it on and beat this Rocket team whenever, and we're going to go back to Golden State and beat them and handle business, and then worst case scenario, we can come into the Rockets building and beat them in Game 7 if that comes down to it, and we're just going to give Steph some time to heal and Jimmy some time to heal, because I don't know if y'all saw the picture of Steph's finger, but holy shit, that looked terrible.
That was
I get it. But at the same time, I don't believe in just giving up a playoff game.
Which is what they did. Now, wait a minute, though, Penn. I mean, Houston was pretty awesome last night. Steph Curry was getting ripped in the open floor. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they? I think the Warriors in the first
Fred
quarter.
VanVleet outscored the entire
Well, that's what I was about to say.
Starting lineup. 44 to 24, and then I just quit on that game.
Three of their starters didn't score in the first quarter. Yeah,
in the first half.
It was awful. Yes, it was bad.
Fred had a good game.
It was bad.
he did. Yeah.
Yes.
No way.
He rocked. Yes, he rocked.
Back to back good games. Back to back good games.
Mm-hmm.
He's a starting caliber point guard.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that the second seed in the West
Who said he
had a point guard
Mars, you was
that
out
could
on
have a
point
good playoff
today,
game?
man.
Who would have thought?
I've never said he's not a starting caliber point guard.
You couldn't get him out of town fast enough.
Who would
I
have
mean,
thought?
for Kevin Durant, yeah, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Like
the
the-
biggest.
You're trying to get him out of
Fred
town for Kevin Durant.
I was the biggest Fred hater on the universe.
Phoenix Suns would go for that shit. Give me a break, Mars.
I used to be the biggest Fred
Get their
hater in
picks
the
back.
universe until I
They
got on the
have an
panel. Now
expiring
I've
Kevin
become
Durant, they
Fred
better.
defender.
We can get our picks back in another way.
Oh, I'm looking right now. Dylan
From who?
Dylan
We
Brooks
don't
had a
even
good
have
game.
them.
Dylan
Don't
Brooks
get
had a
that
good
picks back
game
without
too.
Fred VanVleet.
We don't. We clearly are not going to get our picks back from you, and we already respect that.
We own all your picks, so you're not getting your picks back from anyone. If you're
Okay,
not getting them from us,
Okay, now that's fine. So what we'll do is we'll continue to be good. Yeah, we'll continue to be good.
continue. When did
I'm
they
talking-
start?
I'm talking about the Rockets. The Rockets
Last
will
night.
continue to be good, and they'll
Oh, I
stay.
thought it was one of the Suns. I thought it was one of the Suns.
No, I'm not talking about Phoenix. I'm talking about the Rockets. They'll continue to be good, and we already know Phoenix is awful. We already know that, and there's nothing fixed there. But I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ron. As you were saying,
Oh no, I was just saying, and by the looks of things,
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks had a good game too.
Yeah,
I mean,
everyone
Thompson
played.
as well.
Everyone played well.
It's easier to have a good
everyone
game when
before the
other team does
garbage
not show
time
up.
lineups played well.
I'm just saying, I was told
They punted
this
that game.
offense, this offense was terrible. I was told that you guys couldn't piece anything together. I was told that the Rockets were, well, relying
it.
on offensive rebounds and
which they do,
steals.
Ron. Let's
No,
not
they
act
do.
like
And
that's not the case. That is the case.
Yeah, but chill.
They do.
To our point, chill. To
Mhm.
our point, this team can manufacture offense.
They can with defense,
I mean, Ron,
right? With defense, but not just
Don't
with
do
defense.
this.
But not just with defense, with some offense. I just thought last night that they took Curry out of the game early. I thought Amin Thompson did a good job in taking Curry out of the game early. And once he did that, their defense just picked up tremendously. Now, am I relying on Fred VanVleet to hit 4 or 5 threes in order for us to have a shot? No, I'm not relying on that. I'm not relying on that at all. But what I am relying on is our defense. I'm relying on that because that's been our staple all year. I'm relying on our defense to speed the game up, to get us offense, which it did, and to shoot. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you guys can straighten me out. They shot 95% effective field goal percentage in the first half. So that means that we made almost 100% of our shots. Give me a break, man.
The series-
Well,
the series
it's
is
when you
over
adjust
next
for the
game.
value of threes and stuff. But
I mean,
and it was 82%. I'm still maybe
Right.
at one point during the first half it was 95. At the end of the first half, it was 82%, which is still insane.
that's
Mark,
still
is this
4 out of
still
every
going
5
7?
shots.
Yeah,
Is
but
it still going seven?
I've seen this before. The Warriors punted a game against the Grizzlies in 2022 when they
They
were
did
up
do
3-1 in the series, and then they came out the next game and 1-6. This isn't an overreaction to be like, oh yeah, the Rockets have their number. Like every game in this series, the Rockets have the ability to beat the Warriors. I've said that after every single game when the Rockets won or they lost. The Warriors have the ability to beat the Rockets. This is a very close series.
Sure.
But this game isn't proof that the Rockets are going to come back and win the series.
All they did was extend it. That's all
Yeah,
they did.
but
Moss.
they are good enough to beat them. Like I think that's plainly obvious, even when they've lost games.
What is it gonna
are.
take in game 6? What is it gonna take in game 6 for the Warriors to end Houston? What is it gonna take? I think it's gonna take a monster game from buckets. I don't think buckets can just be 16 or 17. I don't think Curry is gonna be because again, this Houston Rockets team is fighting for their lives. All the pressure is still on them. Every game that they play in is an elimination game. We all know that. So with that being said, them coming into this game knowing that they can get bounced. We know for a fact Curry is going to be right at their throats. So I'm going to look for Curry. I'm going to look for Curry to get busy in this game. I'm going to look for Curry. I can see a 28-32 game from Curry. I can see a 24-8-6 game from Jimmy Butler. I think the difference in this game is going to be Podziemski. I do. I think the difference in this game is going to be Podziemski. If you can slow Podziemski down, if you're Houston, I think you can sustain what both buckets and Curry give you. If you can slow Podziemski down and you can get more offense from your defense, I think you stifle the Warriors. I think it's gonna be tough though. I do. I don't think this thing's coming back to Houston.
What did they do with Steven Adams?
What, the Warriors?
Yes.
I think they're just willing. They've accepted their fate when it comes to Steven Adams. They're not going to be able to. They can't keep him off the glass. They can't. It's not possible. I don't think anyone can keep him off the glass. To be honest, he's the best offensive rebounder in the sport.
I think with so much 3-point shooting, there's always a chance the 3-point variance kind of burns you.
Yeah.
And the Warriors have always been sort of on the forefront of the 3-point shooting stuff. So it feels like they haven't historically had to deal with teams that take a ton of threes, having that same luck flip on them. So I think this series ends in 6, and I think Golden State takes it. I definitely think they punted yesterday's game. I don't think they walked in with any intention. I think they were like, okay, let's give it a chance. Let's show up. Let's see what happens. But if we go down early, fuck it. We're done. Steph's injured, Jimmy's injured, whatever. Like we'll rest up. We'll give ourselves like the 4 days and then we'll full force. But what happens in game 6 if Fred VanVleet has like a 9 for 12 shooting game and Steven Adams gets you 4 or 6 extra possessions and your shooters just happen to go cold, as Jimmy Butler is known to go cold from 3 occasionally, right? And Pajimski and Moody, like you don't have the buffer that you used to. So I wonder if Steve Kerr is operating with old knowledge. Like he's just so used to having house money to play with. I don't think he realizes how razor thin the margins are right now.
You know what's
The
also a
Warriors
possibility,
are
Ben?
winning game 6, but
You guys do know who's
No faith. What happened to every series goes 7? What the hell?
oh, I'm praying for the 3-1 comeback, just like I was praying for the 3-1 comeback for the Lakers. It didn't happen. Still praying on the Pistons 3-1 comeback because I want to see a 3-1 comeback. Realistically, the Rockets are going to lose game 6, but once again, Rockets in 7.
I don't know, Morris, because you know who's due for one. It's been a couple games, buddy. About time for you to show up.
Jalen?
Hey.
Well, he was playing fine yesterday.
Yeah.
He got into double digits. But yeah, he played fine. He didn't damage the team. So
he started out well.
Friday. We will be on the main stage on Playback. We'll be watching the Rockets and the Warriors. And I can assure you one thing. I can guarantee you one thing, Chill.
What's that?
On that parlay, I will be taking the Jalen Green more. I will be. I am expecting a 20+ night. I don't know how efficient
on
it's
the
going to be.
road.
Yes, I don't know how efficient it's going to be.
Facing elimination.
Yes, Pin. Yes. I'm expecting the Rockets' leading scorer, their go-to bucket getter, to get busy in an elimination game. Now, y'all might say that this is asking for too much.
It depends, Ron, what the over is.
He's consistently inconsistent and all. His over is probably going to be like 21. 19.
Depends on what the more is, right? It depends on what the more is.
Yeah, the more is probably going to be 19. Like I said, I'm expecting him to go 20 or more. If he gave us a 30 piece, I would not be surprised. I'm telling you, I just wouldn't.
Well,
what would surprise you? Would it surprise you if he had 6 points?
It would surprise me if he came back to Houston for Game 7. That would surprise me.
Cool.
But what I'm saying is, and to Moss, to your point, that the Warriors have punted games before. 100% they've done that. I actually like what Steve Kerr did with not going back to his starters when they cut the lead to 9. I like the fact that he did that. I like the fact that he kept with those rotation guys because I feel like that gives them a level of confidence moving forward when we get deeper into the playoffs and when he goes to these guys that he knows that they know that he believes in them and they're going to play just as hard as they do. They're going to be as effective as they were yesterday. And I don't see any other reason why he won't continue to do that. So I love the fact that he stuck with them. I mean, and those rotation guys diving on the floor for loose balls, cracking an open 3. I think that even with Coach Udoka keeping his starters out there, they thought because Steve Kerr went with his rotation, them dudes was just going to roll over, not realizing that those guys, a lot of them, 1, playing for contracts, 2, playing for minutes. So, of course, they're going to come out there and give everything that they have. So the screens are going to be harder. The dives are going to be harder. They're going to do everything that they can when they have open shots to crack open shots. So I love the fact that he stuck with those guys. I keep hearing screams that, when they cut it to 9, he should have went back with his rotation guys. No, stick with these guys. If these guys pull it out, if these guys end up pulling this out, which I didn't think that they would, but if these guys end up pulling it out, it's a win-win because if they lose, it's even better because now you have even more confident rotation guys coming into Game 6 and moving forward for the series.
Yeah, well, shout out to the Rockets.
Warriors in 6. But great win. And not going out
win,
like the Lakers did. Going out.
I think your boys were plus 60 against I think your boys were plus 60 last night against their starters, something like that.
Makes sense, yeah.
I was like, wow, man. So this is what it is. And Ron, I think that the Houston Rockets tomorrow night, I think you're going to get their best shot early. That's what I think you're going to get from them more than anything. I think you're going to get their best shot early. I think you're going to see Fred VanVleet. I think you're going to see Jalen Green. I think you're going to not just Fred VanVleet and Jalen Green. I think you're going to see Steven Adams playing as hard as he can possibly play. With that being said, I'm going to see a chess match again, right? I'm going to see a chess match again, but I think that the Warriors ultimately choke them out. I do. I think that the Warriors ultimately choke them out. I think that Ime Udoka gets desperate, and I think that he sticks with Amen Thompson, and I think he sticks with his starters, and I think he goes away from guys like Tari and Jabari, which, for all intents and purposes, I feel like those guys should have been playing more than they were. I mean, Mars, I watched that game, and I understand that Ime Udoka is one of those coaches, very much like Tibbs. Like, if you're not giving me what I need, you will be sitting over here. But I feel like he kind of runs away from young guys, even though he has he's got a whole crew of young guys. I feel like he kind of runs away from young guys in specific cases like this right here, and I think it's been to his detriment. I think Coach Kerr
was negative 15 in 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's when they made that comeback. Yeah, and then we had to bring the stars back.
So it was the Reed Shepherd, Aaron Holiday,
it was the Jock
Ari
Landale.
Eason, Jock Landale minutes. Like that was tough to watch, man. I was hoping for Reed to get into the game and have some playoff experience.
Yeah,
This is something he's gonna have to deal with in therapy.
And Cam Whitmore couldn't even get
That
in
was
with
playoff
that
experience,
lineup, by the
though.
way.
That counts.
Yeah, playoff. I mean, it was against Pat Spencer, but still, you out there in the playoffs and trying to hold on to a lead. They struggled. I think it's damning that we went to our garbage time lineup, quote unquote, and Cam Whitmore wasn't even a part of that.
I was just about to say that, Mars. What happened to him?
Cam Whitmore didn't come in until the last 2 minutes of the game when the starters came back in,
So
and
he's
then
fourth string?
officially secured the win. Pretty much, yes.
Damn.
That's concerning. I will say that's concerning because Reed was in that group, like the garbage time lineup with Aaron Holiday, Jock Landale, Jeff Green, but Cam Whitmore wasn't even in that unit. And assuming Jay Sean Tate's fully healthy, he's probably ahead of Cam Whitmore in the pecking order. So like, Cam's about as far down the depth chart as you can go.
Jay Sean damn near 30 though.
Yeah, sir.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, he was in the league. He's a rookie in 2021. Or 2022, or whatever year it was. So shout out to him, but
I don't know. I think Cam's very talented, but
Very
I also think he'll probably end up like bouncing around the league and struggling to find a space because, again, like he's kind of very one-dimensional.
Very
pretty valuable trade piece, though. I think
the Rockets go for KD. Cam Whitmore's for sure going to be part of that trade package for sure.
But he's not. But he's not going to be valuable because we already know you don't value him. Number one, you don't have a need for him on your roster. Number two, you obviously don't value him because you didn't even put him in your third string unit. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't just overplay your leverage every time we have trade conversations. If you want something, you can't just be like, oh, well, you don't want it. No, I'll just be like, okay, well, you don't. I'm not got to give it to you then. You know what I'm saying? If you want to play that game, you know what I mean?
Is he worth a first?
I don't know what he's worth.
Teams around the league. I don't know what he's worth. The Rockets, maybe not. I don't know what he's trading for Cam Whitmore. The Rockets are going to overplay your leverage. Like you can say, well, you don't value. So Ox's point, well, the Rockets don't value Cam Whitmore, so we don't have to offer much to get him. We aren't obligated to trade him. We may not value him on our roster, but if you aren't willing to give us anything to get him, then we'll just keep him here on the bench. Like we're not forced to trade the guy. Like if you find value in Cam Whitmore, then you will want to trade for Cam Whitmore. And that means we will have a set asking price, whether that is a first round pick or that is part of the KD trade package along with a Jalen Green or a Fred VanVleet and whatever makes salary work. Like that's the value in Cam Whitmore as a trade.
You don't want to over negotiate.
From the Rockets.
That's all. That's all. You don't want to over negotiate.
How we value Cam Whitmore is irrelevant. We aren't trading. We aren't the ones trading for him.
But this is okay. So I feel like everyone misses something, right? Like clearly, some of us have deficiencies when it comes to maybe understanding X's and O's. Some of us have deficiencies understanding training. I think sometimes
some of us just don't know ball.
No, I'm not really calling anyone out. I'm just saying sometimes it really helps to understand how the CBA is structured to understand what is the actual value of Cam Whitmore. So you look at his salary going up next year to $3.5 million, right? So okay,
sure that's gonna make a big deal.
But see, Mars's reaction is the perfect example of what I think most people think when they hear $3.5 million, right? But you
Yes.
got to understand, when you are facing apron restrictions of teetering on the edge of second
It's a big
apron,
deal.
first apron,
It's a big
$3.5
deal.
million versus a minimum contract is a huge deal.
Mhm.
That's the difference between having your entire team locked up and being stuck at the trade deadline versus not. And Cam Whitmore, if he can't get into the game, $3.5 million is an albatross. They might not pick up his
He
option,
will
bro.
get into the game.
They
next
might
year.
not pick up his option, because if you don't believe in this guy as a young player and you can't extract actual value for him, you might end up having to dump him for a second round pick, the way that the Hawks did with AJ Griffin. That's what I'm saying.
For those teams just aren't at the negotiating table. We're talking to the teams that don't care, that they're okay with the 3.5 mil. There's 30 teams. I'm sure 4 of them want Cam Whitmore. That's all I'm saying, Pin. Like,
that's possibly fair.
Everybody, we're not talking about everybody in the guys that aren't qualified for this trade. They're not in this conversation. So the teams that want Cam Whitmore, the teams that are okay with the 3.5 mil, that's what we're talking about. Everybody else are it's so the thing about it, Pin, in business, if you got to understand your customers and the people that are not your customers, and you have to learn to stop wasting time with people that are not your customers. You know what I'm saying? That's just the bottom line about this. So if you're not in these Cam Whitmore talks, stay out of this. You know what I'm saying?
Assume there are 4 teams that want him. Assume there are 4 teams that want him, right? And I don't even disagree with you. I think there are definitely teams that could take a flyer on Cam Whitmore. Charlotte, Washington, Brooklyn. I don't know. There's a lot of teams that were like, we could use a bucket getter. Let's see if we can develop him. I don't think any of those teams are giving you a first round pick for him. That's my point. So you might be able to find 4 teams that are willing to take this guy on, because he clearly has a very elevated sense of who he is as a basketball player. I just think at this point, like, you need to become a role player if you're not going to be a star. Like, if you're not a star, you got to be a role player. You got to be a star in your role. You got to be a good defender. He's not a good defender. You got to be like a really good corner shooter. You got to be something, right? So I'm just saying, you might be able to find 4 teams that are willing to take a flyer on him. I don't think that you're going to find 4 teams, any of those teams, that are willing to give a first round pick. What's good, Pirate? Day drinking?
Pirate, how you get up here?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's going on, man?
Say what now, Ron?
What happened? You're shipwrecked? What's going on?
No, well, I mean, it's 2025. The Bloods aren't doing so good. They started recruiting young guys from England and 50-year-old white dudes. So
Got it. I see you and Mars are matching.
Yeah. No, actually, I'm kind of back from. Got my do-rag on.
Pirate, did you take your pills today?
I mean, I took some pills.
Oh,
I took some pills. Didn't have my name on it, but I took some pills.
There you go. Pirate, how you feel about your boys punting yesterday? How you feel about that?
Is my
That's what it
connection,
seemed like to me.
is my connection jacked up?
No, we can hear you. No, we can hear you. How you feel about your boys punting yesterday?
Well, man. I mean, it's just another case of the Warriors giving the Rockets a sympathy win. It has happened before. It's a fairly typical pattern over the last decade. So I'm not really tripping.
Do you think they end it tomorrow night? Do you think they end it tomorrow night?
Well, I sure as hell hope so. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I was saying Houston all year. It's just the offense. It's too up and down, too sporadic. So, yeah, hopefully we can finish it out. Lakers are gone. Loving that. Anytime LA's out of the picture, that's a reason to pop one open. I was saying all.
Go ahead, Penn. You good?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was saying all season. I was saying all season, the Lakers had by far the most inflated record in the whole league.
So they were a fraud. You think
they
were
were
a fraud?
I was saying they were a fraud all season. Yeah, yeah. I mean, all of the major indicators indicated that they were really a middle of the road at best team.
So now what happens with because you think your boys winning? You think your boys winning tomorrow night? So what happens against Minnesota?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What do you think the difference is in you beating Minnesota?
I mean, are you asking my head or my heart?
What is your,
Yeah, my head says that the story might come to an end. Versus Minnesota. Yeah, but then my heart says, God damn it, Steph Curry's an anointed one, and if he's got God on his side, I mean, I'll never doubt Steph from going all the way. Yeah. I predicted a postseason of 32 points a game. 45% from three. So if you can keep that up the whole postseason, we should be all right. But my head would say that. I think fundamentally Minnesota is probably a better team.
I think so too.
Yeah, but they real quickly, John.
What they got?
John.
John D. I did want to check in real quick and just see when I can expect that $100.
Yeah, our bet's still
$100.
John? No, the last year's PCL game we made a bet.
Last year, you owe a C.
During the last PCL, we made a bet on who was going to improve the record more, the Spurs or the Rockets.
I think the Spurs nudged out the Rockets by a few games, so I'm not going to put my Zelle information.
That's crazy.
Hey, John, all bets on the panel have to come through a certain account to be processed. So send that
not
to me.
you.
Oh, it really was one game. Oh my God.
So send that to me.
Your man right here. See what I'm talking about? This is the shit I be talking about.
It'll get shipped over to Pirate.
Yeah, chill.
Send it to Ron, send it to Bob, send it to someone.
By the way, don't you owe something?
For what? For who? Let me know.
Yeah, you owe some. Send that.
We gotta send Ox an invoice. Do we have to send Ox an invoice?
Wait, hold on, Pin. I owe you something?
No, Ron owes me
you owe me something.
Ron owes me $20. I bet him $1,000 to $20 that Russell Westbrook was not going to win Sixth Man of the Year. I was the hook for
my thing is if I only owe Ron in the whole world, I'm debt free.
Don't let Ox not get you your money. That's messed up.
You gonna have to come get that, brother.
But I think you have my Telegram.
You think I'll walk
so
5
if you
feet
want to exchange information on Telegram, I'm not putting it in the chat because the chat could get crazy. But I think you have my Telegram. We'll talk on there.
Oh yeah,
that's the let the chat go crazy. Hit you up on your personal number and everything.
Weird standards for John D here.
What?
Yeah, no. All right, cool. Yeah. We'll take care of it off camera.
But all right, fellas, moving along. There also was some news yesterday. There was an award that was distributed.
Oh, right.
And it was the most improved player in the NBA. And well, a certain guy from Atlanta took that award home, and his name is Dyson Daniels.
I thought Cade had it locked.
Yo, have we been right on every award?
As the panel collective, I can't remember what the defensive player of the year pick was, but maybe.
So basically,
this is who everybody chose. So Big Ox, maybe you are a Laker lover because you went with Austin Reeves.
I did not pick Austin Reeves.
Well,
it looks like you picked Austin Reeves.
W gaslighting.
Who did you pick?
It says you did.
You know what, Mars? Maybe I did pick Austin Reeves. Now that I think on it, I think I might have picked Austin Reeves. I'm sure. Go ahead.
Big Ox chose Austin Reeves. Chill chose Christian Brown.
Yes, I did.
It's a good pick.
John D chose Austin Reeves.
Shock.
Jordan chose Cade Cunningham.
Also shock.
Marsh chose Big Zoo.
Who's going to save the panel from themselves right now?
I don't know, dude.
You sure I didn't
I made a great pick.
Oh, my bad. My bad. It was me. It was me. Okay, cool.
Big Pen chose Dyson Daniels.
I see a blood.
Swiper
Good
chose
pick.
Zubac.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all.
Ron, you got to save us. Double save.
Ron chose Dyson Daniels in the panel as a collective. Chose Dyson Daniels. So we did get it right, y'all.
Ron, you want to recheck those ballots? Are you sure I didn't pick Big Zoo?
Actually, you chose Austin Reeves.
Okay.
I still think Big Zoo should have won.
I assure you, the voting machine was broken the day you voted.
Gotta be broken.
Shout out to Dyson Daniels though.
Because I cannot imagine a situation where, given the choice, he picked against Zubac. If he, but it's okay. We're glad the voting machine was broken because the panel was.
Shout out to Austin Reeves though. I think he everybody that was picked by everybody, I think they were deserving. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure about Cade, but everybody else though.
Cade improved majorly. I mean,
yeah, just not the most in the NBA.
Right. Also, it's not about picking a Laker. I'm just saying that to the chat.
But he had the hardest role.
I picked Braun too for clutch play.
Yeah, I'd argue Zoo had a quite hard role.
Come on now.
I would.
Come on.
I would.
Be for real. No,
Zoo
Cade had by far the hardest
role.
role, and his team improved by far the most of any one of those players. I don't think it's crazy to pick Cade for most improved player. In fact, there's a long.
Why though? Why do we do that though? No, it isn't, Penn. No, it is not. It is not guys who
Brandon Ingram, Pascal Siakam. There's a lot of future.
Okay, Pascal Siakam was a late first round pick. That's number one. He was not the number 2 pick in the draft, so that's just not true. Not only.
Y'all realize Pistons Radio was talking about trading Cade this past summer? Do you realize how far?
Yes.
Like, okay, first of all, there was, I think, ESPN or some outlet, maybe Sports Illustrated. I get them all confused because they're all the same to me. They had Cade as like the 75th, 73rd best player. If I said that today, I would get stones thrown at my head. Like, there's talk about him being all NBA. To go from 70 to top 15.
Let's talk about Zoo being all NBA.
There can be,
and he was worse than Cade.
No, he is not carrying his role is not as central to what Cade is doing.
Okay,
I think Cade has had the most prominent role. Now you can say it's the shooters, it's this, it's that, but let's just be honest. Like, he's the engine that makes it all go. So I think that I think he had a legit shot at MIP.
I mean, obviously he came third. Obviously had a legit shot, but for me it's Zoo. That's where I'm at. For me, it should have been Zoo. Credit to Dyson Daniels. I knew he was gonna win. He's like the prototypical most improved, but for me, no one improved more than Zoo this year. So
I think Cade is the.
Ron, you sure I didn't pick Norman?
I don't think you would pick Norman Powell because you said he'd been like this.
I had Norman Powell, but I had Norman Powell throughout the course of the season. I thought he was going to win. I actually had him throughout the course of the season, but then I was watching what Christian Brown was doing. So, and also, and I want to just a quick side note to get back to John D. And we're not going to stay on this long. John, would you pick up the telephone and check New Orleans temperature on how they feel about Herb Jones these days?
Of course, any defender.
There's no way they get Herb Jones, but if they do, oh my god,
they're gonna give up Bron.
Hey.
Ox, you know where I'm at. Ox, you know where I'm at. Ox, it don't hurt that. You'd be surprised what you can get when what?
In fact, when
you ask,
you'd be surprised what you can get. Just ask.
Bron for Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. I'll do that.
I was just gonna say you got to throw in Trey Murphy in there.
No, Bron Jr. Bronny.
Oh,
I definitely do that.
You can have Bron.
No, you know what though, John D? What's crazy is what y'all don't understand is Bronny about to hit a growth spurt. He about to be like 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, he about to be the real Bron Jr.
I tell you,
I ain't
retired,
21-year-old future Bron. I ain't doing
all the powers are gonna leave out of Bron and just go right into Bronny. And next thing you know, he's gonna show up to training camp. It's
gonna
be
the
like
GM that traded a 21-year-old LeBron James.
No,
He gonna be 6'6", 245.
Come on, man.
I just wanted to check
Late
your temperature on that.
You
though.
two
I
are disgusting.
did.
Y'all
Yes,
just
they
be
are.
ashamed of
Yeah,
yourselves.
What? I'm
Yes,
not
they
being the
are.
GM who trades a 21-year-old LeBron James.
The whole right side
Yes,
of the
they
panel
are.
right now is just
Uh-huh.
No,
nasty.
I'm just not doing
Filthy
that. I'm
over
not
there.
being that person. Nico Harrison's already made history. He was the one who traded Luka. I'm not being the one who traded a 21-year-old LeBron James.
You don't want no part of that, Mars.
Like, I'm not doing it. There's no way.
But to your point, Penn, Dyson Daniels has been nothing less than stellar this season. I did not think that he was this good as a defender. I was wrapped up in Herb Jones. I did not know that he was that much of a ball hawk. First of all, he's 6'8". I was very impressed with his ability off the basketball and how much he affected games. And I didn't know how good he was on the offensive end, just as a facilitator and a ball handler, because I would watch Hawks games and they would take Trae Young out and they would move Dyson Daniels to the lead guard and it would work. So I think he's the epitome of what most improved is, a guy who was not playing at all or a guy who was playing minimally, and then he comes in the next season and has a stellar year, as opposed to a guy who's the number 1, number 2, number 3 pick in the draft, and then his numbers aren't off from what they were a year ago. It's just as his team has gotten better. I don't think that constitutes you being a most improved player more than a guy who like what Dyson Daniels did.
I don't like this idea of like, because a guy is maybe playing in a bad situation, losing situation, smaller market, etc., we don't see him play very much. If you look
Sure.
at the minutes Dyson did play for New Orleans over the last few years, he was amazing. There's a reason why people like Mars and myself have been talking about Dyson for so long, because we saw what he was doing in those limited minutes, even against really good lineups. He was balling, he was hooping, he could defend, he could do this. Like, I don't think what he did this year, I'll agree. Like, it's funny because I picked him to win because I thought that he would win, not because I think he's actually the most improved player. Weirdly enough,
so that's how you did your predictions.
Yeah, of course. You think
I just did who I would vote for. Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah,
I mean, and honestly, I don't even think Cade's the most improved, because I think Cade's big jump came last year. I think Cade took a really, really big jump last year. I wasn't paying attention. My bad. In January, February, March, like there was a jump in mid-range shooting. And I want to say something, because I have been very, very critical on this show about Cade's defense. Holy shit. I stand corrected.
He could defend, can he?
I stand very, very corrected. In the playoffs, I have seen a really good defender.
I told you.
Incredible, actually, at times. Very, very capable. So I am very amazed. So I think if Dyson deserves it, then Cade deserves it. I think Cade's role was harder. So if neither one is the right choice, but they're both, like, it's a narrative thing, right? All awards are narrative based, right? Cade has been the talk of the league this year. We're talking about him very differently, man. I'm telling you, like, the jump from 70 to 20 is so much harder than the jump.
Is that we were really pinned, but like before this season stuff, we're like, where were we?
Not the 70th best.
I just want to make sure that I'm not losing my mind.
Well, yeah, we didn't think that.
I cannot
remember.
I cannot remember a single media outlet.
Players better than Cade Cunningham.
Players'
I don't
choice.
remember that.
We didn't think he was the 70th best player in the
Yeah, I
NBA.
don't ever remember that. Like what?
I don't know where we put him, because I don't know. We were just disagreeing with you a lot.
Okay, sure. I was definitely lower on him than the board. I'm not trying to reinvent history up here. I was definitely hating hard. What I want in the season. Most outlets, whether you're talking about Bill Simmons or ESPN or whatever, they didn't have him as a top 50 player coming into this season. I think because the Pistons lost so much last year, people kind of just threw him out with that, and they said this is who he is. He's inefficient. He turns the ball over a lot. Not a great defender. Doesn't finish well around the rim. All that stuff. This year, the entire narrative has changed. I think people are overcorrecting a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it's a big jump to go from one group to another group. I actually say it's harder to go from a top 50 player to a top 20 player than it is to go from a top 150 player to a top 60 player.
Well,
that second jump's harder.
You know what's the good thing about the panel is that we do rankings and we keep things archived around here.
Great.
So let's go back.
Watch, we actually had Cade at like 78. Like,
don't say that, Mars. Please don't say that. We had this dude at fucking 86 or some nonsense like that. Man, we had him at like 62. Like, what are we doing?
But I will tell you something, Chill. The anonymous GM survey, when asked who will be the best rookie from this draft class, they did pick Reed Shepherd.
As they should.
Yeah. I
consensus.
can get with that.
And it was like 40%. And the anonymous GM survey also had Coach Bud, as being the best impacting coach. And our esteemed panel, put that brilliant mind in Cleveland as the 20th best coach in the NBA.
Oh my God. No.
Oh, that's not too bad. That's not too bad.
It's pretty bad.
Well, y'all, let's take a look back into the future.
Please, let's do that, Ron.
2023-24 mid-season player rankings.
Ron, this was last year, Ron.
Yeah, we're seeing where we had Cade last year.
Okay, where did we have Cade last season, Ron? All right.
I'm not gonna lie. I see Jokic and Embiid 1 and 2. I like the list. I like the list.
Luka top 5. Huh?
Now, I don't know where Shay's at, but I like the list.
Kawhi 5. Huh? SGA 7.
Got that.
Things change, don't they? Jason Tatum 10.
Tatum at 10.
Ron not top 10.
Oh, look, chill, losing. Yeah, chill, losing.
Oh my God. Tyrese Halliburton over Sabonis 16. Brunson 17. Wemby, hey, looks like Wemby took a jump. Maybe he's
I pushed against this for sure.
I was trying to get Wemby. I know I had him above Sabonis, but you know.
Jaylen Brown, top 20. Most unimproved player.
Most unimproved
All right,
player.
here we go.
Oh, damn, where's Cade?
Rudy 27. Shout out to Big Gobert.
Okay. Now, mind you, wait a minute, Ron. Before you keep going, before you go any further, mind you, this is in the mix of them like 22 straight losses. This is going on at this time.
No excuses.
Let's make sure we remember that. But
no excuses.
Keep going, Ron.
We suck.
Because
All right, we're at 33. Julius Randle, Jamal Murray, Porzingis, Cat. Dang, Paul George better than Cade Cunningham. Huh? Paul George, you
To be fair, I think most of these names were better than Cade last year.
Yes, at that time.
At this
but
point,
we're in the 30s. We're in the 30s. But keep going, Ron.
We better start hoping for the 40s.
Laurie Marketing.
Yeah, we're starting to lose me a little bit.
Franz Wagner. Franz better than Paulo. Huh? Funny how times
change. Yes, sir.
Funny how things change. Zion.
I would have definitely fought against that if I was
Paulo.
him. I definitely would have fought against that.
Where is Scotty Barnes? Oh, thank God.
There we
Scotty better than Cade? Wow. Jared Allen.
Y'all thought I was lying. I was not.
Pascal
Siakam. We still got a chance.
Pascal Siakam at 41 was
Chet Holmgren better than Cade Cunningham.
This is so
Şengün.
There he is. There he is. There he is. There he is.
I told you.
There he is. I'm like, wait a minute, man. Ain't no way.
I told you.
There he
Come on,
is.
man.
Woo.
Whew, that was close.
Cade Cunningham at 44.
We do this. Come on, we do this.
Oh my God, I'm watching
We
this.
ain't have
Wait
to
a
like
minute.
72.
I saw Jared Allen and my blood pressure started to go up. Like, stop
Right
playing.
above, right before, he's right in between Alp and Jeremy Grant.
Jeremy Grant is crazy, by the way. But hey, we made it.
First of all, respect Jeremy Grant, but
Top 45,
golly.
top 45. I think that's not too bad. I
nuts.
think we did okay. Notice how Zubac's one on the list.
Zubac is not on the list.
Yeah, and guess what? He's gonna get some more NBA votes this year.
He went in with y'all. Next, coming up here very soon, sometime in the next month, we'll do our end of the season rankings. So that should be pretty fun.
So do we already know that Cade's gonna make the biggest jump from that list to this list?
Hang on.
I'm gonna be very passionately pushing Zoo, but yeah, probably.
Guess where Cade was on ESPN's preseason ranking?
He was below Derek Lively.
This season, so the
ESPN lists are completely fraudulent.
I remember because I was very passionate about Derek Lively being grossly overrated. He was below Derek Lively.
Well, Derek Lively didn't make our list.
So here's their list: 69, Jalen Green; 68, Brandon Miller; 67, Cade Cunningham; 66, Draymond Green. Here are names that were ranked above Cade. This is why I say the most improved player should be for him, because he took a massive leap.
No, they were just wrong about him last year.
Draymond,
Yeah, they were.
Emmanuel Quickly, Chris Middleton, Contavious Caldwell Pope, Josh Hart, Desmond Bain,
Alex
Caruso, Kobe White, Darius
Garland, Kobe White, are you kidding
Derek Lively, Jaren Jackson, Alperen Şengün, RJ Barrett, Franz Wagner, OG Anunoby.
Bro, it's like crazy though.
Dude, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Them being wrong about where he ranked last year doesn't mean he's actually improved more than everyone else. It just means
they was just wrong.
Evaluation.
Their most improved player is always an overreaction to last year's award anyway. It's always like a delayed reaction.
Probably,
award, you know? So I'm just saying, like, he improved. The Pistons sucked. Nobody cared. I definitely didn't care. and a lot of, and you know what? Credit to the panel being 27 spots more correct, or almost 30 spots more correct than
We locked in.
Where is
Yeah.
Cade? And I know that we're gonna do our. I'm sorry, Ox.
No. Go ahead. I was a little off topic. Go ahead.
So, Ron, where are we? I know we're gonna do our off-season rankings today. Like it's June the 25th. Season's over. We're doing our all-season rankings. Where's Cade Cunningham today?
Well, I'll put it like this. Remember we did a ranking all-star break, right?
Cade's a top 25 player in my opinion.
Y'all remember we did the rankings at all-star break. Remember in San Francisco?
You had him at like 18 or something.
Oh, yeah, that's
we,
right.
we had him at 17.
Close enough.
That's a big jump right there.
Cade to me is a top 25 player in the NBA. That's where I'm at.
Is Dyson?
I can't the panel's own logic.
I can't
So Penn, to counter that, Penn, I mean to expand on that question. So like you said, ESPN had him where they had him. We had him in the top 20.
No,
Where's Dyson?
44.
We had him at 44, and now we have him.
We have him at 44 a year ago. Where's Dyson Daniels last season? Like is Dyson Daniels a top 100 player?
He wasn't on that list.
To
he
me,
wasn't on ESPN.
To me, if
He
you
wasn't
had
even on
asked
a
me-
list, Moss.
if you had asked me last year, I would have 100% put him at a top 100 player, and everyone would have said I was crazy. But I just feel like he's not getting minutes.
Okay, so
no, you would not have.
You definitely.
Dyson wasn't even a
last year, he would have probably put Dyson above Cade. Like
I did.
Dyson wouldn't even have came up in the conversation.
So
Ron,
with that being
you will be
said,
disappointed to understand how high I was on Dyson Daniels last year. Or the
how
year
high you
before.
were? I wouldn't be disappointed because I'm starting to understand.
When Pascal Siakam
that's
was in trade rumors, I did everything possible to make video after video saying, please trade for Dyson Daniels. He'll come in, he'll lock everybody up. I would say,
Penn, be that as it may, you didn't have him top 100.
Yes, I did.
It's no
he
way.
had him over Cade.
Yes, I did.
Pelicans, Dyson Daniels. It's no way you had him top 100, Penn.
So that's what I'm asking, Penn.
I put him top 4 in the draft when he was ranked as the 32nd player in the draft.
You had him as the top.
I have
5
video
player?
evidence of this. I don't give a shit who the hell says I'm lying. I have video evidence of this. I think I have said conclusively he's a top 100 player.
Penn, I said Matas Buzelis was a top 3 pick in last year's draft.
Cool.
Wouldn't put him top 100 for next year or this year.
Dyson's was better.
But Dyson's in his 4th year.
No, I get that, but it's.
I'm trying to tell you that I have been higher than the consensus on Dyson forever. It doesn't. This is not like a 1-year thing. I've been high on him for 5 years.
So where's Dyson Daniels today in your estimation? So is he a top 50 player in the game today?
He's top 60.
So
top 65. I don't know.
So if he's top 65, that means that Cade was 67. He hasn't moved in your estimation from 67. You had him ahead of Cade when Cade was 67 on this ESPN list. So that means that he hasn't moved from that list last year to this year.
I'm already on board. I don't think Dyson Daniels improved that much. I just think he got more minutes. He's marginally better as a player. And by the way, I'm being facetious when I say that Dyson is better than Cade. He's not a better player than Cade. I don't think he's ever been a better player than Cade. I just think his role is harder to fill, I thought, than Cade, because I didn't think Cade was very good at his role. I thought Cade was too turnover prone and too inefficient to hold his role. Now Cade is way better at his role, and now I'm like, holy shit, he's great. He's a really good
Dyson
player.
Dyson was already where he is in your estimation. Now Cade was the one who improved, and he was the one who made the jump.
Cade definitely made a jump. He's much better defensively this year. I think he's been much better, just as a leader. I think this off-court stuff needs to be factored in greatly for young players as well. Like, he's just been so much more composed as a leader. Like, you see it. Like, his team is really looking to him in those tough moments to, make the big bucket, make the big play, even sometimes, get the big stop. Like, he's been awesome. Yeah.
Cade. Beside Big Z.
I think we're going, and by the way, Ron, I'm not sure if we've discussed this. I think we're going back to New York for Game 7.
Facts.
I'm going back to Houston for Game 7 too.
There's no way that they know. There's no way that they let them out. Ron, I came to your neighborhood, this wild ass neighborhood that you live in, and it was a Bentley sitting right there with the keys in it, and I ran off with it. Now I'm coming back. You, by the way, Ron, you put another Bentley in the neighborhood, and I'm coming back, and you said, I dare you to come in here and take this one. I dare you. That's the mentality with Detroit and the Knicks. If they think that they walking out of Detroit tonight with a win, it's going to be with their lives.
I mean, this series is ridiculously close. I think all of the last 3 games have been 1 possession games.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
sir.
And Karl Anthony Towns just.
Like this series has been ridiculously close. So like it could really be 3-2 Detroit right now. It could be 3-2 New York like it is. The series could also be over. It could be 4-1 both of these teams. Like that's how close this series has been. So very interesting. I don't know who's gonna win tonight.
I think we go back to New York.
We got some bangers tonight.
I want to see a game 7.
I think we go back to New York for game 7. I do.
I thought we were gonna have bangers last night, and we got total snooze fests.
Facts.
I enjoyed it.
Pin, Ox, John, who you guys got tonight?
I have the Pistons winning tonight. I got the Pistons winning tonight. I think Cade Masterclass is coming in. I think that's how it's gonna work. And I got Harden being Harden tonight. Like Harden from a couple years
Is
ago.
that good? Oh
no, I'm talking about Harden from a few years ago. I got Harden hooping tonight. And we're going to game 7. We're taking both these games again. I just don't like how this first round, I don't like if it ends without a game 7, without a single game 7. And I need a couple of game 7. So I will be rooting for the Clippers. I will be rooting for the Pistons. I don't care who wins the series. I just want to see game 7 basketball. So I'm going to be going for the teams tying up the series and going back to Denver and New York for a game 7.
I want Detroit to win.
I got the Knicks for sure. I got the Knicks for sure winning this one. When Aaron Gordon tip dunked that basketball, and when I seen the replay, and I was like, okay, that counts for sure. I got like this feeling in the pit of my stomach, like just dread, like just doom. I was like, oh my God, like no way this is happening. I'm kind of spooked. I
think they can beat up tonight.
I definitely got the Clippers winning tonight. But when I seen him tip dunk that ball, and I'm like, this could be 3-1 or 2-2.
Yep.
Man, Kawhi needed that game, man. Kawhi needed that game bad, y'all. But I got them winning tonight in 6. I don't know about what happens in game 7, though.
I picked the Nuggets in 6 before the series started, and I'm sticking with that. I already got my James Harden game, but I picked the Nuggets in 6. I'm sticking with that.
Quick question. Which series would y'all rather watch, or which one would be more exciting to you? Clippers Thunder or Nuggets Thunder?
Nuggets
Clippers,
Thunder.
Clippers Thunder for sure.
Clippers Thunder.
Penn wants the Nuggets to Nuggets Thunder because the OKC can beat the Nuggets.
I'm a fan. Hold on. I walked into this saying I'm a fan of the Clippers, the OKC Thunder, and the Wolves. So I mean, obviously I'm a fan of the Nuggets because of Nikola Jokic being my countryman and all that, but I'm also kind of anti-Nuggets because of Swiper.
Swiper
Can't blame you for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Swiper will do that 100%.
But you know what? I just thought about that though. SGA, Jokic. That's good.
So the $1 million
that's good for the game. That's good for the game, yo.
So the $1 million question is: what are the Clippers historically in an elimination game on the road? What are they?
I don't know what they are historically.
This
is a completely different team.
Probably terrible. They've been a dumpster of a franchise forever.
And with this Clipper team that we're watching in particular, this one against this Denver Nugget team, where would you rank this Clipper team amongst the best Clipper teams that we've seen?
It's one of the best.
This is very flawed, chill. This is very
flawed. It's the best Clippers team I've ever seen in my life.
So that includes when they had Chris Paul and Blake and DeAndre Jordan.
That's the only other option.
Those teams were so hyped.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, but that 2020 team was really good though. I
thought they were.
It didn't. The 2021 team was good too, and then Kawhi's ACL.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I'm not gonna lie. In 2020, I was scared of the Clippers. As a Laker fan, I was scared of the Clippers. I was scared.
The 21 team is better than this team.
The 21 team is better.
I
think the league around the 21 team is worse than the league today.
Has anyone been like sort of surprised by Harden's lack of urgency over the last couple of games?
I don't know if it's a lack of urgency as much as he's kind of missing those some of those step back, some of those threes I expect him to make. I think he's kind of just missing them.
James Harden.
I don't know.
James
I don't know
Harden.
if I'm surprised by anything I see from James Harden.
James Harden is James Harden.
So if he go for 50, or if he goes for 50,
like wherever you
11.
get from James Harden, it's like, yeah, I could see that being possible. That's really where I'm at.
Is it like the Russell Westbrook meme they've been doing with the Mario Kart mystery thing? Was like, no.
Nah, don't compare those.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. I do want to put some respect on Russell Westbrook though.
Yeah, you damn right you do want to.
Yeah, he knocking down them threes. I'm gonna still keep giving them to him, but he knocking down them threes.
Definitely want, and they need to keep giving them to him, Mars. But shout out to Russ.
If you're a Nuggets
he's having
fan,
a hell of a series.
If you're a Nuggets fan, you should be very scared because Russell Westbrook woke up today thinking he's on a heater.
But if he is,
I mean, Russ is gonna Russ. Russ is gonna Russ. So there's been some, some bad parts, but there's been some really good parts too. And I think with Russell Westbrook, you got to take your crookeds with your straights. You know what I'm saying? I think Russ is having a really good series from what I expected from that.
Just so you know, okay.
Shout out Russ. He got it, and he got him 2 games.
And with that being said, Russ is not going to Russ because Coach Adelman is not trying to hear that with Russ. If Russ sucks, he getting the hook, Ox. No. We ain't doing that with him. No.
I don't know, Jill. I've been letting no. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong, but it seems to me like he's letting Russ play through that shit.
I mean, Russ shoots. I think in the series he's shooting over 40% at the long ball line. I mean, he's actually doing a good job in taking care of the basketball. But the minute that Russ goes in the tank, Ox, he getting the Sandman at amateur night at the Apollo hook. 100%.
But that's cool though, because that's what I'm saying about Russ is like those bad. Though I think the good outweighs the bad. So it's kind of like if you're gonna like for this series. So if you're gonna snatch Russ out because he might have did some Russ things in the third quarter.
Yeah,
I think that's good because the spark plug that Russ can be for Jamal and Jokic, MPJ and Aaron Gordon, I think is better for them than the bad things he does. So I think Russell Westbrook's playing his ass off right now.
I think he is too. I do.
I can't. I think I blocked this Baba guy. Someone time this dude out.
All right. I got you, Pen.
Stop reading the chat, y'all. Stop reading.
Y'all, I gotta go to the
me neither, but I'm just
Grande Day Fiesta or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe he does need a timeout. Yeah, maybe he does need a timeout.
The Lakers about to check in at the Grande Day Fiesta hotel down the street, so I gotta go check them in. I'll catch up with y'all in a little bit. What?
All right. We'll get with you later. I don't understand why.
Whatever it is, I'm gonna be down the street, y'all. I'm gonna enjoy this good sunshine and this good beach, so I'll catch up with y'all.
All right, Ron.
Thank you, Mars.
Thank you very much. We'll catch you later. So,
does that mean it's time to read super chats?
It is time to read super chats. Yes, it is. It is time to read super chats. We got a bunch of them too. We don't have to be here.
Roger, and don't come back.
Yeah.
Antoine Elhos-Ron said 23 Luka was one of the best rim point guards of all time. What happened?
Well, he got hurt last
year. What does
rim
point guard mean? What does that mean?
Getting to the rim, getting downhill, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Sure he was. Sure he was. God damn it.
Well, he got. I think with that calf injury that he had this season, I do think that hampered him getting downhill. I think that hampered his mobility, and I mean the scorer that he was, it definitely affected him. And the fact that he got traded to the Lakers, I think, it sped up his recovery. Like he had to get back in uniform. I don't think he was ready, to be quite honest with you. But I mean, I understood it. So I think to John's point, next season, I think we're going to see a different Luka. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to see a Luka who's in much better shape, a much better defender. I just think that we're going to see a different Luka.
I think Luka
280 coming, chill. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I think Luka next season is going to be closer to what he was last year than closer to what he was this year. That's me being hopeful, and that's me just looking at the positive. Because there could be a world where he just continues to be what he was this season, but I'm just going to bank on the fact that he'll be closer to what he was 23-24 season instead of 24-25 season.
Well, there's no reason for me to think otherwise off the strength of what he's been. So, okay,
Right.
Luka hasn't been in the best shape, but but I mean, he's still young, and I feel like he's still got some years left. And because he's still got some years left, there is, that level of athleticism that he still has. I mean, Luka isn't 32, 33 years old and getting long in the tooth, right? Luka is still in his prime. So there's no reason for me to believe that next season, if he comes into the season healthy and he's ready to go, there's no reason for me to think that I'm not going to see the same Luka that I saw 2 years ago, as opposed to the Luka that I saw this year, who came into the season, he was banged up, he had the calf injury, and he got rushed back. So,
Chill. I think I've heard you say this many times. Players who they are by year 5, right? But
yes, sir.
is this something that you have sort of believed for a long time, or is
Yes,
something
sir.
So
it's always been that.
But like when players were coming in when they were 21, 22, 23, by year 5, they were already 28.
That's correct. That's correct also. And it's a different level of physicality that they have at that point. There's a different level of mentality that they had at that point. But also,
but take a player like Jeremiah Fears this year. He comes out, he's 18 years old, or Cooper Flagg. By the year 5, they're still 23.
Illinois rep Jeremiah Fears, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Which would normally be a rookie, but we do live in a different league, right? We do live in a different league, and with living in a different league, I think that we've kind of gotten. I think we've kind of gotten spoiled by guys like Curry and James and KD, guys who play, 18, 19 years. DeRozan. I don't think that we have. We're not going to have guys who play that long. I mean, the average NBA season. I mean, the average NBA career for a guy, I think it's 4 years. So to your point, when you have a guy that's coming in at 18 years old, if he's going to play 12, if he's going to play 10, 11 seasons, probably by year 5. And again, I think that my logic of year 5 gets misconstrued, because I think when people hear me say year 5, they think that I'm thinking this is all you're going to get. That's it. When what I've always said when I said year 5 is this is probably who he is. This is what you should expect moving forward. Not that you're not going to get more, but this is probably who he is moving forward.
The baseline.
Yes, this is probably who this guy is moving forward. So if you get a Steph Curry who's in year 5 and he's 24 a game, this is probably who this guy is moving forward. Now, you're going to get a 32 a game guy. You're going to get a 28 a game guy. Is that him moving forward for the next 8-9 years? Probably not. This is probably who he is, but you can very well get those seasons. That's all I ever meant when I said that.
So it's more of an insurance policy of like, this is setting the floor, and it kind of weeds out any rookie fluke seasons like Tyreek Evans and Michael Carter Williams.
Yes. That's where I'm at with
Come on, man.
I didn't say anything. I'm just waiting to read the next super chat. But go ahead.
Sure, I do think. I don't think that these guys are like an anomaly, or these guys. This is something like we're not going to see anymore. I think it's really like athletes taking their body seriously. You know what I'm saying? I think people are going to start the guys that are the better players. I think they're going to start playing longer. I think that average time span of your basketball life, I'm specifically talking not even just basketball, but most sports that aren't like collision sports like football. You know what I'm saying? I think these sports, I think hockey. I think people are going to start playing soccer longer, playing basketball longer. You know what I'm saying? Because they're taking their body more seriously. They're learning more about preventative care, learning more about just, stretching, icing, you know what I'm saying? Maybe partying less, you know what I'm saying? Taking care of your mental, you know what I'm saying? I think that like the mental health wave that we've been going through for the past 10 years, I think is going to make a big difference, where people think that just because you're super rich, you're a millionaire, that you got everything together and that your mind is just perfectly fine, when that's not true. Rich people go through just as much as poor people do, you know what I'm saying? Or working class people go through, or whatever. So I think like taking care of your mental, taking care of your body, eating better, just loving yourself all around, I think is going to make these careers where playing to your 38, 39 is more regular.
Now, it's interesting you mention that, Ops, because the very person that we're talking about in Luka has not done that. That's in addition to Luka, a guy in Anthony Edwards who just started doing that. It was just last year that he said, all right, I got to start taking better care of myself because I'm getting deep into the playoffs and I don't have what I need in order to advance because I'm out of gas. Probably because, you know, I'm 22 years old and I'm eating nonsense and I'm out late nights and I'm not taking care of myself. I can definitely get with that logic. What I'm thinking about, to Penn's point, is I'm thinking about a guy that's 18 years old. Okay, sure, you're 18 years old, you're 19 years old, and you come into the league. Well, not everybody is James. Not everybody is this all-time great player. A lot of these guys are just good players, and they'll stick around for that timeline because their game ultimately phases out. If that makes any sense.
Do you know? Do you know when Luka signed his first pro contract? As in, when did Luka Doncic become a professional basketball player?
Like 13, 13.
I was gonna say
He was
15.
13 years old.
Okay,
13, yeah.
So that's 13 years ago.
right.
He's been a professional basketball player for 13 years.
Now we're gonna
cannot talk about him like he's Pascal Siakam at 25 or 26. It's not the same thing. Like, I'm not even saying, like, and again, I think there's too much emphasis on age. Like, 26, guy's still supposed to be getting better. Yeah, it depends on the guy. Depends on how he takes care of his body. Depends on his injury history.
Sure.
If a guy tears his ACL, I mean, Harry Giles, perfect example. Like, we remember Harry Giles, right? In high school.
Yeah.
ACL. You lose some of that athleticism. It's just not the same anymore. Harry Giles was the number one ranked high school player.
I remember him in the league. I do remember how he was in Brooklyn. I didn't see him. How good was he when he was in?
It was him. He was the number one
recruit in the country. Right?
It was him and Scalabissiere. Them guys was.
He was number one. He went to Duke, and we drafted him.
He's the best player in the country. Coming out of high school.
So I'm just saying, like,
that's what I'm talking about. In high school, he's the best player in the country.
We just assume that everyone's peak happens between 24 and 26, but the reality is we had this conversation many times. There's lots of people who peak at 18, 19, 20, 17, 16. Imani Bates. Like, I can give you 1,000 examples of players where even all-time greats, where I could say, if I look at the top 150 players of all time, I'll guarantee you at least a third of them had their best season ever before the age of 25. At least a third. I'm willing to bet it's over a half.
Interesting.
So it's not for granted, especially when you take into the very unique perspective of Luka. Number one, injuries. Number two, weight. Number three, off-season conditioning, beer, all this stuff, eating, whatever, mental health. I don't know. Number four, how long he's been playing professional basketball. Number five, just his body, his athleticism. You know, there's just a lot. So I don't know. I think it's perfectly possible to assume that the best could be behind us. It's also possible to assume that the best is just going to keep going for the next 6 years. It could go either way. It's up to him, really. But understand that by the time he's hit 30, he'll be playing professional basketball in his 17th year.
Almost 20
which is like never happened for anybody ever.
Didn't Tony Parker sign a pro? Didn't Tony Parker sign a pro contract? He was pretty young when he did that too.
I think he was 15 or 16.
Yeah,
I don't think
he showed up.
Who do I remember that signed a pro contract when they were 13? Like the youngest players I can think in Europe who signed pro contracts were like Ricky Rubio. So. And also before he was 13, he was playing for he was playing with youth teams. Like this guy's been playing basketball for a very, very long time. It's not like Giannis or Pascal where they kind of picked it up later.
Yeah, I mean, but with that being said, though, like Jason Tatum and these guys have been playing basketball at a very high level for a very long time, so they just weren't overseas to get paid for it.
Sure,
it was a different, you know.
Could we, if we being honest, Ox, can we say, you know, Jason Tatum at 19 before he got to the NBA, was he not a professional? Like was he not a professional at 18? Could we say that he could have played?
If they had NIL, he's basically professional.
Even at 15, 16, he's playing at a very high level of basketball.
That's what I'm saying, Ox. I mean,
he's got, you know, these dudes have a very strict schedule, things they got to be at, things they got to do. They're always playing ball, just not getting paid for it necessarily.
But Luka's also like carrying the entire weight of a country in the offseason with Slovenia. So there's also that extra load that you throw on top of that. Jason Tatum is not the face of USA basketball.
No, he isn't.
I mean, he literally
You want
just
to say
played.
basketball and something basketball is not the same thing at all, but I hear you though, Pin. I get
Of
what
course,
you're
it's-
saying.
of course,
I
it's
get
not.
what you're saying. I'm just not putting as much weight on it as you know.
As you were
Ben
saying,
Shelley.
Mark.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Ben Shelley said after a good regular season all around, feels like JJ Redick defecated the bed this series. Not fully on him though, of course. We did kind of.
Why are you making the super chat all British?
I don't use expletives, so you know.
Well, to your point, Mars, to answer
Never?
that, we did see JJ Redick. We did see the inefficiencies of JJ Redick, and we did see the inexperience of JJ Redick as a coach. Yes, we did see that. 100%.
Yeah, he's just trash. MP13 said having 2 max players under this CBA really is hell. It's rough out here, man. People really might need to start taking pay cuts to have full rosters.
MP13. I keep trying to like when I say that the days of the super team are over, like they think I'm crazy. The CBA won't allow it. The CBA will not allow it.
I mean, if
Mhm.
LeBron takes a pay cut, they might allow it.
I think we're going to get to a point where older rookies are going to become a lot more valuable.
We're already there.
Yeah,
They already
okay.
are.
Yeah, I think we're at a point where I think older rookies are going to become more valuable because you need to
They're-
maximize these rookie contracts.
They're going to
so
start
they need
coming
to
in
go
a
to
lot
contract.
more too. They're going to start coming in a lot more too.
Yeah.
Like with
With-
NIL, people aren't just like throwing themselves into the draft anymore.
Now the lottery teams, like the number 1 pick, yeah, they're still going to prioritize the younger, more potential, blah blah blah. But any good team that's trying to be in contention, they're going to be drafting 21, 22-year-olds who they think can impact the team right away. That's going to be a lot more common. 7 gram swish said layup line on aisle 77.
Ole, come on in, my man. Knock yourself out.
I don't think Luka's that bad on defense, man. I think you guys behave.
Back spasms hurt, man. And I mean,
No, they don't.
despite that, he still played. He didn't just duck the game. So shout outs to Luka for doing that.
Was he having back spasms because of when he got hit? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
The foul.
I mean, you
on
saw him, right? He
Dante
could barely
DiVincenzo,
move.
bro.
Yeah, but I don't know if or is that a back spasm or he got hit?
No. Yeah.
Well, he didn't get hit on his back. He did something to his back. It did look like he did something, but he was
They were talking about
he was
back
getting
spasms.
fried on defense before that, and he was getting fried on
They,
defense.
they were
after that.
talking about back spasms on the broadcast.
Long before that.
Yeah, so I mean, but yeah, yes, last night wasn't ideal probably in terms of what he was feeling physically, but his defense sucked long before that happened. So layup line on aisle 77.
And by the way, the back spasms, which is a part of the sciatic nerve, which I call it the psychotic nerve, it doesn't hurt, Pin. The pain is psychotic. I just want you to know that. Yes.
Nothing to play with.
It
them
doesn't
back
hurt?
injuries, man.
No, it doesn't. It's psychotic. No, it's way worse than that. That pain is
Way
way
worse than just hurting.
Oh, okay. You're
That's
saying
not when that's
yeah.
sciatic. That's sciatic. Well, you can't even feel that. It's
You mean the
crazy.
psychotic nerve, Ox? That's what you call it? That's what I call it. I don't call it the sciatic nerve. I call it the psychotic nerve because that's how bad the pain is.
Sure, I was a while, like a long time ago.
if your back hurts,
To me,
nothing works.
I couldn't move. Like when that happened to me, I was like, I was
Literally.
young. I was like 21, and like I was stuck. I was trying to walk up some stairs. I got stuck. I couldn't even move. Like my whole right side was numb. Like my sister and my cousin had to carry me to the car. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't even walk.
Carry you?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I got big people in my family though. Like my sister's 6'2", bro. So
Good thing I wasn't the box. I would have just watched him suffer. And I won't.
Even if you were 6'2", you'd have watched him suffer anyway, Moss, because you're a scumbag. You've already
Yeah,
made
but I
that
have an
clear.
excuse to watch him suffer now. I have an excuse. Built-in excuse. Genetics.
that's a crazy pain. Though. That's a different type of pain.
Beneficial to be short sometimes. Ant MJ235 said Ant had 31 assists and 6 turnovers this series. Has a better than 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio in his playoff career. For everyone who doubted his playmaking, you still think Terrence Shannon's a better passer than Ant?
Yes.
Interesting.
I do think
5-1
people who were
assist to turnover. Wow,
who
that's
were
tough.
like hesitant on Ant's playmaking, I think there was valid reason to have concern there. Like one thing we do as a basketball community and during discourse of the game is we look back at like, oh, you were crazy for doubting Ant's playmaking because he was a lot better. I think you had valid reason to doubt his playmaking or just to be a little hesitant of his playmaking. So the fact that he gotten better is a testament to him, but I don't think people are just flat out wrong for being hesitant on it.
He's been better than I thought he would be on that end.
He had the best playmakers.
I had
for his
more
age.
concerns than the ones that I saw from him. Like I thought he was better. I thought Julius was better. They both
Wait.
look better. But
But,
I want to see them against a good team. I don't think I've seen them against a good team yet.
Nice. I'm at the point where my doubts of players don't all of a sudden mean they were wrong. Like to John's point, I wasn't wrong to question players in the past because in the future they improved and said things I doubted. The player just got better. That doesn't mean I was wrong 2 years ago.
Steph Curry.
No, the player was what they were 2 years
unwashed
ago.
to washed to unwashed.
No, he's still washed. But
Still washed. Okay.
Yeah, still washed. But like me being right 2 years ago and then the player improving doesn't mean you can then revisit the tape 2 years later and be like, you was wrong back then. No, at that time I was right and the player improved. So now my perspective of said player has changed. When I'm wrong about a player, I'll happily admit it. Zion Williamson, my friend, I was wrong about him. But like generally speaking, players just get better. That doesn't mean I have to hold on to the take I had 2 years ago about the same player just because you want me to stand on business. No, I'm just gonna say what I see at the time I see it. If things change, then I'm gonna say that things changed. It's not that hard of a concept, but whatever. Also, yes, that's probably not washed, but nah, he washed. Rockets is 7. Avery B said, when the trade happened, I thought the Lakers were cooked. They played well after and gave me false hope. No center, size, and defense ultimately killed us.
They have 3 centers.
They have 3 tall individuals for sure. Yeah.
Those two things are not the same thing.
Yeah, they have 3 tall individuals.
Those two things are not the same thing, Penn. No.
Conscious E said Anthony Edwards is the best shooting guard in the game, no doubt. The postseason just reminds everyone how great he really is. I can't name 10 players better than him. Yeah, I think he's the best 2 guard in the league. That's where I'm at this point. Top 10 player, probably.
I don't think you can give it to him definitively over Donovan Mitchell yet.
Well, Miles and I
big
respectfully agree. Miles and I respectfully agree to disagree on this. Now,
yeah,
if I see something else, to Miles's point, new information, something may change in another year or so.
It's going to be very interesting.
As of today, in April of 2025, I think Donovan Mitchell is the best 2 guard in the NBA.
It's going to be very interesting to see how Andrew Nembhard guards him because love me some.
Man, he looking that up, man. That's what Andrew Nembhard does. Best point of attack defender in the NBA. XX saved XXYT became a member. Shout out to you. And then Cujo said the problem with Lakers fans, you guys heard Marcus Morris and Shannon hype you guys up for about a month and ran with it, disrespecting all the other teams and ignoring all the flaws the roster had. Shaking my head. Yeah, I think Marcus Morris and Shannon Sharp were a bit wrong. Just a teeny bit wrong. And me, I had Lakers in 5-2. That shit ain't go how I wanted it to. LDog661 said, for a man, this is about Penn. For a man with 2 stats degrees, I would think the law of averages is not something to put stock in.
I don't have 2 stat degrees. For a man who wasted $5 on a super chat to spite me, you thought you'd get your information right.
Damn, LDog, fried you. Jake Fascioni said, it's not really a surprise. The Lakers got no size. Wolves in 5.
Is that priority number 1 this offseason, John D?
Yes. Get some size at the 5-man position. I don't care if we leave with nothing else. Get a starting caliber big man. Get a starting caliber big man.
You need to fill that hole more than anything. Gotcha.
Steven Adams is a free agent.
Yeah, he'll be a great backup big.
Backup?
Not
He's definitely better.
If that's the only center we're getting, he'll be a starter. But if I would love Steven Adams best if he was a backup.
Because you a hater, but it's cool. Gregory Kirkland said JJ is a stubborn man. He should have played Len and Hayes, but nonetheless, LeBum is gone.
This is the best part about being a Laker fan. When we lose, it's like nobody, the community does not rally on anything else more than the Lakers losing.
You do understand why, John D.
Trust me. I understand why. I understand why. But as a Laker fan, we got to get used. We got to, what I'm saying, we got to live with that. We got to live with that. And that's something I'll take happily.
Because Ox and I had this conversation, just like the Laker fans, they want everything. They're very much like the Yankees. I don't just want my car. I want your car too. I don't just want my house. I want your house and your house. I don't just want my girl. I'll take your girl and your girl too. They want everything. And when we see people like the quote unquote Lakers, when we see them fall, we love it. Absolutely.
You know what? Don't be surprised if the entire league is still a little bit salty about that Luka trade, Because unlike other trades which have gone in the Lakers' favor, nobody was even included in the discussions on this one. And I feel like all the other GMs might be saying, I don't know if I want to help this team build a roster around Luka. I think I might ask for a little bit more from them than I would from somebody that I have a good relationship with. Relationships are a thing. I don't think Rob Pelinka is very in the plug with other general managers right now.
Well, we'll have to see this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, y'all have one saving grace, which is I think there's going to be probably a lot of opportunity. And you know, if you have Luka and you still have LeBron, there'll be opportunity for exposure. So there might be some players who think they're mid-level players, don't get mid-level contracts, might have to sign for minimums and be like, hey, I could just come and be the Tyus Jones this year. You know what I mean? Like
Hopefully
I could just
play better than Tyus Jones.
Tyus is cool. I don't know why y'all hate on Tyus Jones so
Scott
much.
Holder said, are we going to talk about LeBron James teams only winning 55 plus games twice since he left Miami, despite having a top 15 player next to him for all but 2 of them? We're going to talk
Facts, man. This taking him out of the top 10. You know what I'm saying? LeBron's not a top 10 player because of this.
Only 250. I mean, he got 2 rings since he left Miami. I don't really care.
Is LeBron a top 10 player?
Of all time? Hell no.
All time? Yeah. He's in that conversation. I was about to say, but all time, yeah, he in that group for sure.
I'll put him in the top 25.
Yeah, me too. Say
closer to 25 than to the other end, definitely.
Closer to 35 than he is to 20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
he's not top 25, but
Mars, just let me talk, bro.
Yeah, you see, you gotta get better at this trolling.
As soon as I said it, I knew it was wrong.
You gotta get better at this trolling. It's not natural.
I'm working on it too, Mars. I'm working on it.
It's clearly not natural for everyone. Sage said, "What's the best single game performance in this playoffs? Is it Jamal Murray's?"
No, Kawhi. Game 2, Kawhi.
I think what was that Steph game? Was it game 3? Game 3, Steph was in that conversation.
Game 1, Steph was in that conversation too. What that?
Kawhi.
What was that? Game 3, France?
Where he closed the game out? Yeah, game 3, France. Yeah.
Bro, Kawhi had people remember Michael Jeffrey Jordan after 1 game. Like, please understand that performance was magical. They couldn't do anything.
He always do anything.
That's true.
This offseason, I really want to have some conversations about Pete Kawhi Leonard. Like, I really want to have some conversations because the longevity, if it was there without the injury, I think Kawhi Leonard would have a different tune.
You're having a way different conversation.
What took you so long? You want to do that now in 2025?
Fox, this is the thing. I'm new to this content stuff. I haven't been around that long. We gotta, you know what I'm saying? This offseason, we're gonna have those conversations.
John D, I want when you having these conversations, remember that I told y'all a long time ago that Kawhi Leonard was a bum knee away from being the GOAT.
You did say that.
He was never going to be better than Bill Russell. But
this the dude. We'll keep Bill Russell out of this. But for you, Mars, we'll keep Bill Russell out of this. But you got to understand how many rings this dude would have if it wasn't for that knee. And I'm just going to leave that there.
I think Kawhi is.
If injuries didn't exist, Kawhi would have 1 championship.
I think it's good to.
I know you're going with this, Mars. We've gone through this. We could do this for 30 minutes.
If injuries never existed, Kawhi would have 1 ring. But
he would.
We ain't got time to revisit this.
He still would have beat them. Mars, what I'm saying. Like,
hell no.
Okay.
Like he would have won in 17. He would have won in 23.
The way KD was acting.
If you turn the injury sliders off throughout NBA history, Kawhi Leonard has 1 championship.
No, they can have 19.
Because that means he doesn't get injured by Zaza.
Kawhi gets 17.
The Warriors are 17.
Kawhi gets 17. Kawhi gets 21. Kawhi gets 23.
Nope.
That's cool. I don't want to do it right now.
I think the Spurs would have beat.
Once again, it's gonna be a long off season
that year.
A Warriors team, very obviously not the greatest team of all time if they would have lost to the Spurs, but you know,
it's not really the off season because the W. But I got you though.
Kawhi had him.
It is not.
Yeah, Kawhi was great in that game 1 for sure. Warriors in 5.
Why be torching KD? Oh my god, he be fucking KD up. Go ahead.
Warriors in 5. Fatboy Keem said, "Oh, this was for Ron, but Ron didn't read it." He said the next PC weekend should be in Savannah, Georgia, and yes, Mars, the food is great. 912, 912.
I gotta come to Chicago, man. Let me show y'all some food.
Chicago is dope. I had a good time in Chicago. Yeah.
Thanks. Slide to Chicago. Make it way easier for me. Make it way easier.
We need to do a PC weekend in Phoenix. That's what we need to do.
No. Bryce Lawson said, what does the panel have planned this offseason?
Well, we have planned all off seasons. We talk basketball, and then we'll have a PC weekend somewhere, and we'll discuss basketball. That's what we do.
The whole
Probably
offseason.
Probably a couple
Probably where
of-
LeBron ranks all time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like a LeBron versus Scotty
Yes.
Barnes, like 2-hour marathon. That would be great.
Who won that?
Let me let me schedule that dinner
Scotty
appointment
Barnes
early.
really is he
What?
overrated?
I'm
Stuff
gonna
like
have
that.
a root canal.
I'm definitely doing the Scotty Barnes thing. I'm out. I can't handle a half an hour of Fred VanVleet and Olajuwon. I can't do it, guys. I apologize.
I think I've seen the way he playing defense on Steph. Hakeem could never.
I'm not.
But you know,
Fred, I just want you to know I was the only person up here supporting you, man.
Yes, he was definitely.
I was
that
kind of
island
on your
by
side.
himself.
I just ain't want to be put next to you in that take, but I was kind of like, yeah, I see what you're saying. I just didn't want to look like I agreed, but I was there, kind of agreeing. MP13 said, "I'm not blaming JJ for the defense, but why does the offense look so stagnant and unreliable?" I was told you guys have 3 elite creators.
They do.
Luka is a stagnant offensive type of dude. He dribbles the ball when everybody watches him.
And we can't leave out the fact that Minnesota's defense on the perimeter isn't bad. It's actually really good. So those creators, that stuff looks a lot different when you're going up against good perimeter defenders.
Offense was mid,
And going up against 3 referees.
Okay,
I really
Here we go
do
with that shit.
hope
Here
that.
we
I
go.
really
Oh, yesterday was crazy, man. I was about to break my television. Chill.
I really hope the offense does.
Egregious.
I really do hope the offense does get a lot better next season, because I do think we have the pieces to create a top tier level offense. We just gotta have an off. Let's just get an off season to put all that together, and let's revisit the playbook. I got one in my closet. I can help out. You know what I'm saying?
okay. So
Chill. I literally watched LeBron James foul Austin Reeves.
Okay, I'm gonna step away while we talk about this because I can't.
Oh boy. Can you handle it, John? Can you
Trigger
handle
warning?
it?
Trigger warning. Truth. It's
they
the
lost
truth.
the series, and we still gonna talk about the refs. God damn.
Damn.
Because I was so sure that the refs were going to gift them that game. They tried their best. They
The
fouled out
Timberwolves tried to
everybody.
gift him that game by shooting 10%.
I agree. I agree with you completely. If take out Ant's, I want to say passive performance, take out the historically cold shooting, and take out the refs, that's a 35-point blowout.
Damn.
Take out all of that. You gonna take out all of that?
Damn.
Take out what happened in the game and the win.
That's
win
it.
by a lot.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I'm saying you had a lot of factors going at you, but I swear to God, I watched LeBron James foul his own teammate and get a call on the Timberwolves. I watched Luka literally just fall, just going. Jaden McDaniels. Jaden McDaniels. Like, shout outs to that dude, man, because he just like looked over at the crowd like, what do you want me to do? He looked over at his coach like, what am I supposed to do?
Maybe he shouldn't foul.
He's not fouling Mars.
Yeah,
He's not
but they're
fouling more
calling
than
him.
anybody. He did not foul 6 times. There's no way in hell. If he fouled 6 times, the entire damn team, the other team should have been fouled out. You got Jaden McDaniels. He's guarding perfectly. He decides to move the chair. I think Luka falls. They call a foul. How the hell is that a foul? That's bullshit, man. That was bullshit.
Oh God.
Pull out one of these. You know what I'm saying? Get you a little marker and let's get to work. It's going to be a long off
He's gonna
season.
be really campaigning to be on this coaching stuff.
You know what I'm saying? I got all of it. I got the film. Let's do it. Fly me out to LA, man. Let's get it. Let's get this.
That's what this is all about. Okay, I'm trying to get a free vacation.
You want to be on JJ's podcast?
Yes, for sure. I would love
And
to be on the pod.
You could be with him in the unemployment
He's
line
on a
next-
better he's on a
like,
better podcast
2
already.
weeks
He
into
don't need
next
to be on
season.
JJ Reddick's podcast. He's on a
Okay.
better podcast.
How long before JJ Redick is fired?
I'm not
Next year.
Yeah, no, I don't
Next
know.
year.
No,
That shouldn't happen. They should let
I'm
JJ
literally
get his
giving
whole
him
4 or
6
5
weeks
years
into next season.
JJ needs to get his whole 4 or 5 years off. It'd be crazy to fire JJ right now. That would be ridiculous.
Why? There's like 100 people in the world more qualified to
it would
coach that
be
team than him. There's 3 people on his own bench who are more qualified to coach him.
That would be crazy. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
What number does Nicholas Claxton?
That would be some of the.
Yeah,
And I'm used to seeing
right?
stupid shit in the NBA. I'm really used to seeing stupid shit in the NBA, but that would just be so dumb. Like,
Ox, they
but
haven't
like
had
I
a
said,
consistent-
we're immune to dumb shit in the NBA though.
They haven't had a consistent coach, right? They haven't had a consistent coach like more than 3 years since Phil Jackson.
This is Wemby. This is Wemby right here.
Yeah, okay. Scotch Tape said Ant's processing and decision making was really impressive this series. He wasn't getting rattled by the traps, and he made the right play every time.
My bad, my bad, Johnny. That was just a habit. I'm sorry. Reflexes.
He deserved that. He deserved that. I agree with. I think Ant was the best playmaker in the series. So, and he was in a series that featured LeBron James and Luka Doncic. So, shout out to Anthony Edwards. Alan Katende became a member. Shout out to Alan. Medved with the super chat said the Timberwolves shot 7 for 47 from 3. Rudy Gobert was doing all the scoring. Why did JJ put out a small ball lineup all game? Clueless.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm at a point where it's like this is the last game of the year potentially at the time.
Yeah, just put Master Kleber out there. Yeah,
just throw out somebody that's played in the playoffs this season. You know, try and stop Rudy Gobert getting those. And then there was just multiple points where Rudy wasn't even getting boxed out. Like they were just letting him get the rebounds after a while. It's like, yo, I'm not even gonna put a body on.
At some point,
I think JJ
that's
just
the first time
wanted to show you how
Rudy's
smart he
ever
was.
punished small ball in his life. Like
Punish the Mars. Punish them.
It was amazing.
Loved it. Dunking on guys. I was like, what is this? Who is this Rudy?
Catching lobs.
I think
that's the Rudy.
I think JJ just wants everyone to know how smart he is. You know what I mean? Like, trust me, I'm aware. I'm aware. Pot calling kettle black. I get it. You know,
like somebody.
I have a lot of the same similarities. Honestly, the reason that I'm so honed in on JJ Redick is because yes, like I have a lot of those same tendencies of being, you know, just overconfident, arrogant, prick, whatever. I get it, right? I think
he's got to coach the Lakers though, Pin.
You do.
Yeah, you
Yes,
do
you do.
sort of,
That's
but for that market, you do. But then you can't be super soft and sensitive when someone asks about your coaching decisions. Like you need to have thick skin. And him leaving that presser before the game where he's just like, oh, you know, that's a bad assumption, and he just walks off because someone asked about whether he should listen to his assistants, which by the way he should. I'm just saying, like, I think sometimes this guy takes like risks because he wants you to pay attention to his decision. Not benching a single player for an entire half, that's a major decision. That's a major decision. That's not like that didn't happen by accident. And ain't no way that you're not going to be asked about that in the post game. Playing Maxi Kleber, who hasn't played since January, it's not like you're not going to be asked about that. You definitely going to be asked about that. I feel like he went for Hail Marys because that was the thing that would kind of get him noticed. You know what I mean?
Like, is he trying to get noticed, or is he just trying to win a basketball game?
Well, think about it.
Thing though, like if everything you do
There's other stuff going on besides the Lakers. Let's go, man. There's other stuff going on besides.
I agree, but we're talking about JJ Redick.
Other shit going on.
Think about what I'm saying. If they win and he played his starters, he didn't bench anybody. The entire people will be like, "Damn, he's a genius." That's a guts. That's a guts to play LeBron in the entire second half, and they won, right? If he plays Maxi Kleber and Maxi Kleber comes out and splashes 4 threes. People be like, how did JJ know? That's a guts. You see what I mean? He becomes the hero if those things work out.
Coach. Okay, he's a selfish coach.
It's not selfish, Mars. He has main character syndrome. He has main character syndrome. He needs to be the center of attention. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
That's the definition of selfishness. But Pimp Name Slickback said, John, you can call us up in Brooklyn and we'll tell you no. Why? Because next year Luka is a free agent. We want Luka for free. Why would we help you, LMAO? We're trying to sell Luka on Brooklyn. F you guys. Damn. So no Claxton for you is what he's saying. No Claxton for you.
Yeah. Glad somebody in the front office is saying that.
You don't know. He might be. Zero just vibing said shout out to Moody, Spencer, and Kevin Knox. They kept that game from being unwatchable. Dub headbutt.
Love it.
I will say when the Rockets took out everyone like going into the fourth, I stopped watching the game. The only reason I knew the Warriors made a comeback is because Road Talk tweeted about the comeback, and I was like, "Oh, there's no way." And then I saw all the stars were back in the game. I was like, "There's no way they blew this lead." But ended up winning. So I didn't see the comeback unfold. I didn't watch that garbage time. You know what time it was when garbage time started?
That's true.
Like 3, 4.
I wasn't watching that.
Go to bed, Mom.
Them F1 and them phone. You said my goats washed this season. Embarrassing defensive performance by him last night. MVP Luka next season. I'm coping. I mean, the guy is the oldest player in the NBA. If he's not washed by now, I'd be kind of concerned. But, you know, Then Medved said trade Bron or let his geriatric self walk and use the cap space to bring in good role players to put around Luka. Would you guys trade LeBron?
No, he has a player option. You can't trade him. You can't.
I'm not saying I
do my
would
best.
trade him, but I would say that open cap could really help us fill out this roster.
And so you're pushing LeBron to leave.
I don't know if I'm pushing. I don't know what I'm doing, Mars. I'm
Okay.
still in the heartbroken phase right now. I don't know what to do with myself right now.
He's fantasizing about Nick Claxton and Wemby layups. Like, come on, man.
They probably will. They'll probably get Austin Reeves for Wemby or something. I don't know.
Like
Try 22 became a member. Darrell Jones said LeBron as a Laker has been a failure. Don't give me he won a chip because every superstar Lakers in the modern era has won multiple championships.
But I would still say winning a championship is a success, though. Like,
yeah, but he showed up after his prime. Those other
superstars. 35 when he showed. 35 years old when he won.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing about LeBron. Like, people hold 40-year-old LeBron like he's a 28-year-old other all-time player.
He on the court, John D. He on the court.
But they can't tell me LeBron's a top 5 player. And then when he doesn't play like it, tell me he's 40. Because if he's a top 5 player, then we can expect top 5 impact. And then I'm sorry. You can't tell me he's top 5. And then when he doesn't play like it, tell me he's the oldest player in the NBA. Then he's not top 5. Then you can't have both of those. You can't have it both ways. That's where I stand on it. But
this is just like the Swiper, Clippers and 6 prediction. You have hedgeability. You protect yourself on both sides of the argument.
I'm definitely used to doing that. I do that a lot, but it's just that one throws me off.
Yes,
you can't tell me
we are aware.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue to do so too. Huncho became a member. Shout out to Huncho. Yusuf Oz said, "You're not extending Luka just to tank, especially with the way Luka's body's looking. You might only have 3 to 4 years of prime Luka. Stop the nonsense." Yeah, I don't think I'm tanking if I'm the Lakers, but it was a unique perspective. Theo Perry became a member. Shout out to you. War V Room said Bron's not retiring without a farewell tour. He has to maintain good relations with the NBA if he wants to be an owner of the next expansion team. So LeBron's confirmed to be back next year. Julius Irvin said everyone picked the Lakers to win. The good guy's gonna die in this movie. Wolves in 5. Penn had the Wolves and Jordan had the Wolves. So just saying. Love for Dina said extremely encouraging playmaking series from Ant. Felt like he controlled every possession on offense, even while shooting terrible yesterday.
Yeah, he controlled it 100% because he has the ability to get to the teeth of the defense whenever he wants. So even if he's not having a good shooting night, he can still control the game just by having the defense collapse and putting guys in rotation. So some of the assists that he wasn't getting, you would still think the play happened because of his rim pressure.
And just off the strength of him being a much better three-point shooter this season, and I don't expect this Luka Doncic kind of elite, but I expect him to be a much better playmaker next year. Just off the strength of what I've seen him have I seen him improve as a three-point shooter. Just seeing that shit like that. I do expect I 100% expect him to be a much better distributor and a playmaker next year. 100%.
Just that I've seen him do it now. It's like, okay, now I'm not gonna say the standard is like you said to be Magic or Luka, but the standard is you should be able to make the right play constantly. And now that you've seen the levels of the offense that this Timberwolves team can get to, you should want to make the right play constantly. So that's the standard I'm holding him to this next season.
Jason Grills said, okay, I'll read it. How would you feel if the Lakers somehow get Scottie?
You already had Scottie.
Pippen Jr.?
Yes, you already had him. You gave up on him.
Facts.
Perfect.
And then
so we don't have to have the 25-minute meltdown.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, that's what we had.
DSG Piccolo said, John D, if you want Rob Will, you got to take Jeremy Grant's contract off our hands.
Fuck no.
5 year, 30 million a year.
No.
Hey, Diesel, y'all might need to go ahead and just do that.
It comes to a point where if we need a center that bad, fine, fuck it. Come here.
Yes,
so what you waiting for then, John? You had an opportunity to get him early.
I don't think you guys can afford that contract, but
exactly.
No. Jeremy Grant shot 37% from the field this year.
Mars, stop, man. Give me a break.
Hey,
No.
hey, DZ,
Why you
hey, you
why you
got to
think he's trying
play
to
the play,
tackle?
dog.
Why you
got to
think
play.
DSG
Almost
is
1
trying to
million
dump
for
it?
every
But let me,
percent.
how many
Yeah,
shot
I know it's
attempts?
not bad.
How many
Why you
shot
think
attempts?
DSG
'Cause
is
that
trying
could
to
be cut
dump
in
it? For
half.
that reason right there.
He
You don't
shot
want him
12
around
shots
no more.
a game. He shot 12.
Oh,
And I can't give him
damn.
the bail of, oh, well, most of his shots are threes, so that's why his field goal percentage is low. He shot 38% on 2-pointers. Like, what damn? Damn.
I'm good.
Avery B
Don't worry
said,
about that, man.
do the Lakers before the trade beat the Timberwolves? So if they had AD, I say they would have. This season, everything considered, was Bron better than Luka this year? I think he was. So 2 questions: would the AD Lakers beat the Wolves? And
Yes.
then who was the best player on the Lakers?
Yes.
I think the Lakers do win that series with AD. That's not me saying AD's better than Luka, or I would have declined the trade. That's just me saying our biggest deficiency in that series would have been taken away with Anthony Davis at the helm. So I definitely think we would have beat them with Anthony Davis. I still do. I don't think we washed them or anything. I still think that's a really tough series. But because when you think about it, we got AD and we still have Max Christie. So I think Max Christie would have played a really big role in that series as well.
And is Bron better than Luka?
This season, there has definitely been moments where Bron has been our best player, like that stretch where he was averaging like 29, 7 and 7 on 46% from the 3 on 7 attempts. Like that's a really hard player to be better than. Like, and he was playing really good defense in that stretch. Like, hey.
Interesting. Luka, you suck. Brett Bovia said Zubats anchored a top 3 defense with James Harden and Norman Powell starting. Let's get bro some respect. I agree. Let's get bro some respect.
Yes. Word.
Most improved
Shout
player.
out Big Zoo.
Yeah.
Lauren from Brooklyn said Lakers in 14.
Facts, man. We're gonna get him in game. We're gonna get him in game 72.
Hey, maybe. Your Highness Charles said to win a title, you need 8 to 9 guys, a top 5 offense, and a top 5 defense. 2 guys not winning you a chip alone. Lakers have an old man, a fat man, and tons of bums.
Yeah, this is something that I've been saying for a while now. The formula to win a championship is something the Lakers don't have, and yet and somehow I still let it cloud me to pick the Lakers. So,
because you're a casual, John.
Yeah, yeah.
War V Room said, doesn't the CBA benefit bigger markets more? Because now if you can only make 10 mil a year in contracts, then those sponsorships become more important.
Yes.
No.
I think it 100% does, Joe. Because you have players like Gary Trent Jr., who just put up 30 points in multiple playoff games who were okay, sure. I mean, yes, he cost them in the end, but that's a minimum contract guy. And the more of these teams that have to sign their rookie free agents, like Paolo and Franz or whatever, that money just runs dry. And now you have a very easy pitch to the agent where you're going to be like, I don't actually have money to pay your client. It's not that I'm cheap. The league is not allowing me to do it. The CBA is not allowing me to do it. I'm landlocked. I don't have money. I had to pay the Franz Wagners and the Paolo Bancheros. I ain't got money left for, the Caleb Houstons of the world. And now Caleb Houston's like, okay, cool. You ain't got money for me. $3 million here. Could I make $3 million and then make $10 million on off-court deals through Clutch and LA and the market over there? It definitely helps big markets way more.
Fair enough.
C2 React said, I think Herb Jones and Nick Claxton will be a good fit on the Lakers, and I think Wemby would be great on the Rockets.
Herb Jones can be a great fit for any team.
I can't even call them unrealistic. They got Luka, but it still annoys me. Conscious E said, I'm watching some BAL basketball right now, and the big man on Ville Dakar that's a Senegalese team, I'd assume, is a really good rim protector. The Lakers could have used him. Bro's a beast in the paint.
Shout out to the Basketball Africa League, man.
Lavabi Borland said, have you guys ever rewatched the streams and look at the chat logs? Buddy is crazy. I've never seen this much dedication to one man. Some baby mama energy.
And it's in the wild hell, ain't it? It's super wild.
Shout out to Buddy getting a super chat sent to us.
Yeah, super duper wild.
Slat with a lot of T's said, I don't care that my Lakers went to Cancun. We still got time. Just want the Warriors and Clippers to come join us on this nice hot beach as well.
Damn, you want all of California to get packed
up? I would love for the Warriors to join you on that beach.
I'm still tripping on John D. Seeing Luka at his doorstep and coming outside like somebody playing with him. Like, what the hell going on? Are you serious right now? What's going on? Is somebody playing with me?
Nah, for real. I'm not expecting anybody. You expecting somebody?
You know what that is? That's misery loves company. Why would you be rooting for all the California teams? If you're from LA, I know you're not a Clippers fan. I get that you may not be a Warriors fan, but shit, at least let somebody from your state go,
No.
on to the next round.
Houston and Denver got it.
No, I'm not gonna lie.
Merry
Now that the
Christmas.
Lakers are gone, I'm
Later, fellas. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right,
Peace.
chill.
Zach Spath said PC weekend in Alaska. Ox 1v1 versus a polar bear is peak content.
Y'all been seeing that trend? Y'all been seeing that trend?
Yes.
That
And it
not
has been
gonna lie.
conclusively answered.
Very conclusively. Duke Baylox said, I knew we should have gotten Zach LaVine for Austin Reeves, and JJ Redick is not a top 35 coach. Mark Williams, Cam Reddish, and Zach LaVine needs an apology.
No, dude, come on, man. Zach LaVine ain't solving the problems.
I don't know. But y'all do understand that 100 men do a one gorilla very bad, right? Like,
Yes. 100 men win
Okay.
easily.
all right, for
It
sure.
depends on the 100 men, Ox, and also one polar bear
Talking about 100
beats
real
the
men.
shit out of one gorilla.
Yeah, the polar bear can have the gorilla. That's cool, but
Yeah,
100 men
for-
is beating. 100 men is beating a gorilla.
Yeah.
I definitely
it-
think 100
like,
men.
Is
is-
it 100 men like you, or is it 100 men like Ox? Because I mean,
Okay,
like, I
first
feel
of
like
all,
there's a big
Minor,
difference.
so I'm not in the category. I don't even
It's
qualify.
about mine.
Bro.
I
You're
don't
like 20.
qualify.
You like in your 20s. Come on.
But the average man is what, like 5'9", 180?
5'9". Well, in America, it's like 5'9", 200. But okay.
The average.
But see, I'm more so
100 of
talking
them
about
is beating a gorilla.
we get even average men, but I'm talking about like 30 offensive linemen, 20 sumo
Yeah, we're
wrestlers.
picking
Oh,
it.
if humans get to pick the 100, it gets even worse. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
If
it's
we
not
have
even
like a
We
vote,
get like
we bring up
35
John
Samoans.
Jones and
We
yeah,
go
like, if we
get
do
some
that.
starting D linemen. We
It's
go
not
get
a bad-
Aaron Donald. Like,
Bro, I ran this simulation in my head. I feel like the gorilla takes one human and just beats the shit out of every other human being with that one human being.
I don't think it's like, I don't think it's a wash. Like, I do think
think it's
the
a
first,
wash.
I think the first like 25 to 30 humans, it's not gonna look great. It's not.
Yeah, there's going to be sacrifice. We
But
understand that.
the stamina,
going to be
I think the edge is the stamina alone. Like, I don't think the gorilla's gonna have the stamina to go through 100 different guys. Like, I just don't.
Yeah,
think
I just feel
If
like
the men get to
pick,
strategize, they win comfortably.
why is it that when people picture these 100 men that they imagine like the 300 Spartans? Like, why? Like, everyone just charging all at once, everyone all courageous, bro. When you see what happens to that first person, the rest of y'all
There's
are
going
gonna
to
take
be
your
some-
hands and run.
This isn't a movie. We aren't attacking one by one. Like when
No,
you
I
see
get
those
it.
fight scenes where it's one person and
Yeah.
around 5 people and
Mars,
they
have
all
you
go one by
watched
one.
300? They
You
charge as
rampage.
one.
Like you ambush. That's what happens. You ambush.
I'll be somewhere in the thick of the middle.
16
Like, I'll be
people on one leg,
66.
16 people on the
Hey.
other leg, 12 people jump on his neck. Like they gonna be fine.
Hey, Mars, have you ever seen one of those videos where they talk about that? Where they talk about like fight scenes like John Wick, where it's just boom, 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 and then you fight this person. They're like, what would really happen if you were fighting 5 or 6
Like,
people at a
goddamn,
time?
like,
I bet nobody's
that
gonna sit
gorilla's
there and watch you
getting
beat
tacked
up.
up. That gorilla is not surviving more than like 3 minutes. But Pimp Name Slickback said LeBron will be treated by Laker fans the way us Yankee fans treat Alex Rodriguez. We never accepted him because he only won us one, and same goes for LeBron.
That's why I hate Laker fans.
I
Only
actually
won us
appreciate
one.
that. I actually appreciate it.
entitled brats. Only won us one.
I
There
actually
are
appreciate it.
franchises in this league that have 1-0.
Yeah, but the one they won, it doesn't really count. There was no fans. So, you got to factor that in. Zach Spaff said, versus a gorilla, the first 50 humans are cooked, but after that, the humans would be able to dogpile the gorilla since it would be tired. Maybe it's 50 people who die. And then we do have the cheap super chats that Ron never reads, but I'm going to do it anyway, so stay with me. Antoine Ojos Ron said, please don't let the show be a Luka is washed convo. I don't think it turned into that. There was a tiny little bit of he's regressed, but we've been all right. K-Bird 80 said Rudy carried. Facts. Fatboy Keem said, Penn, where's this energy when you're wrong?
I mean, I choose to be more stoic when I'm wrong.
I mean, no one's going to victory lap being wrong. That doesn't make sense. MP13 said, more than anything, Randall looks extremely composed. I agree. I 100% agree with that. Mo said, salute, chill, and everyone. Dub Harden and Pistons in 7. Pistons in 7. Facts. Cowboy Bob said, can you see Royal Ivy getting a head coaching job? He's the assistant on the Houston Rockets and the South Sudan head coach, if anyone doesn't know.
Not sure.
Yeah, I don't know how the coaching market works in the NBA. Zigsaw Puzzle said, we know Bron is recruiting Nash for the next head coach. Okay, he just wants to sabotage his team. Mo said Luka is leaving LA. I'll take him in Houston for Fred VanVleet. Yusuf Oz said, who's the best player the Lakers can get for Austin Reeves?
Off the
Jaren
top of the
Jackson?
dome.
God damn, that's a big money difference.
If
Yes,
it's Jaren Jackson,
but there's expiring contracts that the Lakers have in
Maxi Kleber and them.
Rui and Maxi, and I think they took those contracts for a reason, because if they package those 3 players, they can actually get yes.
If Memphis do that, then goddamn. Slat said Giannis to the Lakers like Kareem in 71. Okay, buddy. And then Mo said Dub Harden regardless. My goat for life, Dub Mars. Dub me indeed. And then Mike the Champ said Nico's running victory laps right now and over Luka. There you go.
He's taken L's for the last 4 months. He deserved one day.
Yeah, he probably celebrated that game. Like he celebrated that game
Bro,
crazy.
As the Lakers got packed up, he was like popping champagne. He's
For
just
sure.
like, I feel
That was his NBA
vindicated.
championship. That was his NBA championship.
Bro, I swear to God, every single time Luka got blown by on defense, he was probably just like, I told you, I tried to tell you.
I
They call
I
me
believe that's probably
crazy.
what was happening. But that brings us to the end. Thank you guys for watching. We will be back tomorrow. Different
Peace.
panel, good topics, all of that great stuff. Merry Christmas. Thank you guys for watching. Merry Christmas.
peace.
Dab.